over 50% of people who work in the fitness industry have symptoms of body dysmorphia. Now, what does that look like for the general population? 1 to 2%, so 50 times higher in the fitness space. Today, we're going to talk about ways to help heal this within yourself. Unfortunately, we have a lot of experience with this because we work in the fitness industry and we've trained lots of clients. We're going to talk about this, how you can help heal your body dysmorphia.
You know what's crazy about that stat? It's way more than that.
It is.
Underreported.
Yeah, because there's a majority of people would say they're not that are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That are
well, you work in the space, so being obsessed could look like discipline.
Yeah.
Counting every calorie could be discipline because you work in the space.
Yeah.
But both of which all the time
dysfunctions.
Dysfunctions. It's super high in our space. In fact, I would, this is my personal experience. So I'm not a study, but this is my personal experience. It's more often than not.
Yeah.
All the trainers that have worked for me.
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
7 out of 10.
At least. Also, full disclosure, I struggled with this for, I'd say, most of my life. Exercise was a source of comfort for me since the age of 14. And it's been better and it's been worse. And some of it was rooted, a lot of it was rooted in body dysmorphia. Later on, probably more in control. So I also have a lot of experience with this myself. It's definitely a challenge to tackle. And that's why I think it's a good thing to talk about, because fitness can be a path out of body dysmorphia, or it could drive you straight into the arms of body dysmorphia in a way that makes it far worse. And so it's like a double-edged sword when we're dealing with this.
What do you think are some of the most common forms of that? Do you think it's mostly people like things like anorexia? Do you think
orthorexia?
Okay, yeah. So explain all the different types of kind of body dysmorphia that you could have, and what do you think are probably the most?
Well, we'll do general because it can be pretty. But I do want to say this: none of us are therapists or psychologists. We're fitness experts, so we're speaking from experience. But you have the classic anorexia, where you restrict, starve yourself. Bulimia. This is where you purge, you make yourself throw up. Reverse anorexia, don't know what the technical or clinical name is. This is what you may see bodybuilders suffer from, where they never feel big enough.
Right.
And so they take extreme measures.
Drug use with that, yeah.
The anabolic steroid use and just extreme exercise.
Isn't that called like bigorexia or something like that?
I don't know what you can look up reverse anorexia and see if the actual term. Bigorexia, I think, is like the slang term for it.
Okay.
Orthorexia is the obsession with everything being perfect and healthy. It's like counting everything, measuring everything. Everything has to be organic. Everything has to be,
it just says muscle dysphoria.
Yeah.
Oh, bigorexia.
They did say bigorexia.
Yeah.
Okay. So those would be the more common ones. And just, again, it's that sense of control.
And wouldn't you also say, Sal, so those are all kind of the main popular categories. And then within those categories is a spectrum, right?
Absolutely.
So there's also that, right? Because there's also these are the clinical definitions or clinical names for these, but sometimes it may not be
severe
diagnosed that, but you lean in that direction.
I'll say this: look, it is really hard to grow up and live in a media obsessed modern society and not, to one degree or another, struggle with some kind of body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
It's very difficult when you're constantly being shown and sold perfect bodies, when it's being overvalued. It's becoming more prevalent in young men now. This used to be something only young women suffered from. Now young men, one of their top anxieties is not looking good enough. So it's to get out of this modern society unscathed from this, I think, is very difficult. At some point, everybody kind of knows what this feels like. And you're right, there's degrees.
Well, especially like what drives you into fitness, if it's like the shame of whatever body, you're trying to correct something about yourself, and that's like the main driver of you coming in. And it's really hard to not like have that obsession, going into like trying to solve this, and it becomes problematic.
To your point, I'm curious because we've all talked about this. You and I probably more about like this is what drove us to fitness originally, right? This was originally what got me to go to the gym the first time was insecurities around my body and wanting to be big. And, and so we've talked about, now when we grew up, social media didn't exist. And so the fact that it affected me and I didn't have that, I can't imagine what the statistics are on somebody growing up today versus someone else, where you are, and the amount of time that this generation spends on their phones and following people that they aspire to look like or be like. And then those people, photoshopping, filtering, only putting their best images out. I mean, it just has to completely exacerbate this problem. Like, I mean, how many X has this got in the last 2 decades?
Yeah.
It has to have exploded.
Yeah, and it's such a distorted reality. I don't know, maybe Doug, you can look up how much time the average, let's say, teenager spends on social media, or average 20-year-old.
Because before that, it's like you're looking at a magazine.
Yeah, magazine, an ad.
Or, on TV maybe, but you don't spend a lot of time like you do with the phone constantly.
Well, it's totally distorts your reality. Like if I pull up, so the average,
because when we grew up, to your point, you saw an ad, you saw a commercial, maybe there was that one kid or two at school that was
athlete,
that was so gifted and beautiful, perfect, whatever, like it's so rare. But even them, you see them on their bad days. Like in social media, like you only see a highlight reel, and how many people are filtering it, and it's only their best angles, their best lighting, their best everything.
It's distorting reality.
So distorted.
I'll give you guys an example.
Yeah.
The original Tarzan movie, maybe you can look it up, Doug. Look up the original Tarzan.
Oh, the way he was built.
The man who played it, and I want to get his name. He was in a
Johnny Weissmuller.
What was his name?
Johnny Weissmuller.
Okay,
Yeah, Jesus, how did you know that?
Because I was growing up back then.
That was
I had to do the old age joke before you.
That was very quick to have a random name
he was
like
very
that.
famous
I
back
have
in the
never
day.
heard
One
of.
of my favorite talkies.
So he was considered really fit.
Doug had a
muscular.
poster of him.
Okay, this is the original. This is 19. When was this movie? When did it come out?
1904.
No, that's when he was born. When did Tarzan come out? 1950 something?
Yeah, let me see.
Doug just totally dated himself.
I know.
Right now. Hey, all this dude's pictures are in black and white.
1932 and between 1932 and 1948.
So if you look at a picture
That's
from
my
that,
parents, I know. It really is.
Doug was
Look
only
at Doug
45.
look at Doug backpedaling right now.
Yeah.
That's my dad's favorite show.
That was really good.
No, so if you look at a picture of him in that Tarzan movie, he was known for having this incredible physique. There he is, right there.
Yep.
You know what he looks like? He looks like just like a fit
Average
dude.
guy.
Average fit guy that works out at the gym.
Very average. I mean, you're talking about like he's probably 18% right there.
If somebody looked at that now, because we're so distorted, someone might not even think he worked out, even though he was a high level swimmer. He looks like a normal dude.
That's actually what he looks like. He looks like a swimmer.
He was a swimmer.
Yeah.
Kind of a normal dude. You look at Superman, the old Superman.
Yeah.
People were like, that's super fit. It's gotten so distorted. And here's what happens. This is the example I've given before in other podcasts. Imagine if for 5 hours a day, because that's what it says with teenagers on social media for 5 hours a day, okay? Imagine if for 5 hours a day, all you did was hang out with NBA players. That's all you did. For 5 hours every day.
Yeah, you think everybody's 7 foot tall.
Bro, you could be 6'4" and you'd be like, man, I am tiny.
Yeah.
I am
totally
a small person because I'm surrounded by 7 foot tall giants all the time. So it's distorted things so much. I think most people at some point have suffered from some of this. And there are ways that you can kind of get your way out of it. And fitness is a great way to do it, but it can also be a great way to get you in it real deep. And it can make things a lot worse.
It can reinforce it.
That's
well,
right.
yeah, because and I think that's what we've seen happen with social media is that if you do push really hard and track all your calories and get your body this way, and then you get rewarded with likes and views and comments, and so you get this like positive reinforcement, and then you go, oh, well, I should do this for a living because people are asking me questions. How do I look like this? And how do I get that way? And like, this is my career path. And then, so it's this natural progression of I get this reinforcement of how good I look when it all started because I was driven by some insecurity because I wasn't enough. I didn't have this. I didn't look this. And then I start doing that. And then because I put it out there online, I start getting this feedback at a rate that you would never get in real life. And then all of a sudden now it looks like a viable job or career for yourself. and then you get down that path, and then you get paid for it, and you make a living off of it. And
now,
then
I'll say this to trainers. I'll encourage trainers. This can make you really good at helping other people with these challenges. It did for me.
Yeah. No,
in fact, it was a saving grace. It kept me from going too extreme.
Yeah.
Because of coaching other people and caring about them.
Well, you didn't. I know this on your list of tips. You didn't put this on here, but we give this as a recommendation to people a lot of times that are suffering from this, is to go help somebody else.
Help someone else.
Because that was one of the best things for me too.
Yes.
Was because again, I think that we all seem to fall on somewhat of a spectrum of this. And to see people even at a higher, crazier spectrum, it's really eye-opening for yourself. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he thinks of himself or she thinks of himself that way. And you're like, wow, I have a bit of that.
That's right.
You know, and so it's this great mirror. And then as you're coaching that person through that, like trying to help them out, you're like, oh wow, I'm a version of this. Maybe I'm not as bad, but I'm definitely a version of this.
Or you give advice that you should take yourself.
Yeah.
that happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the first thing is really, you have to try to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because if this is you derive a sense of comfort from whatever your behavior is. So, for example, I'll give an example, because I've gotten on calls with some of our clients here at Mind Pump. So we have trainers that work here, and they work with clients, and I love to pop in. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I tell my trainers, listen, if any of your clients ever request to have me on, as much as I can, and I can't do it all the time, obviously, because I have to do the work that we do, I'll get on anytime I can, especially if this person is challenged by something.
Well, that tends to be just so the audience knows, because I don't even think you should put that out there like that.
Yeah,
because
everybody's going to ask for
it.
Yeah.
What you do a good job of is you've told the trainers that if you have a client that's challenged with something like this, that you've tried to work through and they're still struggling, and you want me to come on and help.
And so what tends to happen is I get on with clients that have really difficult situations. And I've talked to a couple. I talked to one woman a while ago who was, she had in treatment for anorexia. She got released. And she's like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work with therapists anymore. This was her own personal thing, because of course we tell her, listen, we're not therapists. She's like, look, I want to work with one of your coaches. And we sat down, we talked, and I said, here's the deal. I said, I'm going to be very honest with you. This is going to feel very uncomfortable. I tell people to listen to their body all the time.
Yeah, they can't listen to their body.
You can't listen to your body, because you're going to eat 1,200 calories and you're going to feel bloated and stuffed, like you're stuffing yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to have to kind of get used to for a little while.
Yeah.
For someone like me, especially when I was a kid.
But I think it's important you explain why that is, because this person has conditioned themselves to be so comfortable with feeling empty and hungry almost all the time.
That's right.
So they're so used to being empty.
That's right.
Okay. And what someone else might call starving or depleted or flat, or all the terms that we use for someone who doesn't have a lot of calories in them, that this person has now found that's their normal. That's their comfortable. Anything beyond that feels overly stuffed.
I conditioned myself to, when I ate, I would eat until I couldn't eat anymore. And this was as a kid, because I was always trying to gain weight. When I started to eat more properly, I started to realize, like, I'm not even hungry. Why am I feeding myself so much food? I had to get comfortable with not being stuffed. How funny is that? Because my issue was always trying to get bigger. And so this may look like this for you. Not doing tons of cardio all the time, or not going to the gym as often as you do, or skipping some workouts, or doing workouts that are totally different from the ones that you probably should do less of. And so getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, it doesn't mean you're going to be comfortable. I know people say that term. It just means get used to the fact, or accept that this is going to be uncomfortable.
Right.
This process is going to be uncomfortable. Right. The next thing is, and this one is a big one, is you want to outsource some or all of this to someone else. This is where a coach can really come in handy, because a coach could tell you, here's what your workout's going to look like. And you just do what they tell you. Or, look, we're going to have you eat this much, and I know it feels like too much for you or too little for you, but this is what you need to eat. And you got to outsource that control, because a lot of this comes with a sense of control.
There's so much internal conflict.
Totally.
It's just necessary for you to offload that to a coach to really, sift through that and give you the right answers.
Do you know when I realized just how important this is for this person that we're speaking to, when I really realized this, was actually in the competitive world. And the reason why I say that was, I was scratching my head why you had people, let's say Phil Heath, for example, that dude knows everything about macros and training.
Yeah.
Yet
Mr. Olympia
needs a coach. Like all the greats, all the people that had all these, that all had coaches. And it made so much sense when you think about so many of these people are extreme versions of this that suffer from this. And that's what they've just taken it to a whole nother level. But they're also the same people that are in their head the most about their bodies, and they can't, and if they're constantly assessing and looking at themselves and critiquing themselves,
analyzing data and all that, obsessing.
And again, I think I know what it's like because I fall on the spectrum of that. I'm not as extreme as that. And I've shared on the podcast before of how much I could get in my own head of like, I know I'm doing all the own things. Luckily, I'm self-aware enough to know that stay the course, Adam. I know I'm doing the right things because I was coaching myself through this process. But I remember the mental games of looking at myself in the mirror and judging and going, oh my God, this is bad. This is wrong.
Wanting to overcorrect.
Yeah, and then wanting to go the other direction and then having to like talk myself off that ledge, which is making so much more sense to me. Like, oh, this is why.
Think about how effective this would have been, like, because you and I are similar, right? As a kid, always trying to be big, never allowing yourself to, let's say, go on a cut. Having a coach be like, no, you're fine. You're not getting small. Don't worry.
Yes.
You're just getting leaner.
Oh, totally.
You know, really it would have been effective or beneficial to be able to outsource that to somebody.
For sure.
And I think this is a valuable strategy. I think a good coach will do it. By the way, if you pick a coach to do this, make sure they're qualified. That can do this, because what you don't want to do is get a coach that'll strengthen your body dysmorphia, because it could go in the opposite.
Which this also, speaking about the competitive space, this happens a lot.
Yes.
You get somebody who has no business competing because they already have an extreme version of body dysmorphia, and then they hire a coach who takes them to extreme levels of eating and training and just pushes that person even further down this hole.
Yeah. Next, you want to focus on a healthy, objective metric. So I've told this story many times because it was the first time that this really occurred to me. But I was a young trainer. I don't remember how old I was. I was probably 19, and I had trained this couple, and then they had hired me to train their daughter. And they had told me, look, our daughter suffers from anorexia. She got out of her treatment. She's gaining some weight. We want her to exercise now. We want her to strength train to strengthen her body. And so we'd like to hire you, because they trusted me because I'd trained them. And I actually got on the phone with the young lady's therapist, because I've never worked with anybody with this. And I asked her, what do I do? What do you want me to do? What are the smart things to do? She said, don't focus on her body. Don't do body fat tests. Because she asked me, what do you do with clients? I said, well, typically we weigh, we do body fat. She's like, don't do any of that. She said, don't focus on any of that. And so I thought, well, what am I going to focus on? I said, strength. I'm going to focus on getting her strong. And it worked so well. Now, it's not perfect, because strength can become its own obsession. Yep. But for this young lady who had struggled with anorexia, getting her to focus on and then take joy in getting stronger meant she was moving in the right direction. It was objective. Yeah. You're either getting stronger or you're not. And you can't restrict and get stronger. You can't overtrain and get stronger. And so that was the direction that she moved. It may be, for someone else, mobility. It may be sleep. It may be connecting with people at the gym. It's something that's more objective, but that's also healthy. And then you can make that your target, because some sense of control, I think, is necessary for people with body dysmorphia. Yep. So when you have that metric, like for me, I'll give my example. So my example, the healthiest I ever was with my relationship to fitness was when I did jiu-jitsu. That's when I had the healthiest relationship with it, because it took me away from wanting to be big and wanting to get jacked and super strong, because it kind of didn't help me in my jiu-jitsu.
There's checks and balances with that.
There were checks and balances. Like if I lifted too much, I couldn't do jiu-jitsu really well. And I needed to be able to be mobile. And I needed to be. So when I focused on my jiu-jitsu, it was the healthiest I ever was with that, because it was a healthy, objective metric.
I think the strength thing is so valuable, because it's a measurable win that they can go after. And when this person is so used to using the mirror and the scale as the way of measuring their success or wins, and you take that away from them, it's really difficult if you don't give them something that they can go, tell me I'm doing the right thing because I don't feel it. I feel bloated. I feel terrible. I don't like the way I look. The scale's going in the wrong direction. So please tell me there's something that is a signal to me that and strength is a great thing for that. And so it gives them at least something, some sort of positive reinforcement of, okay, we're going the right. I could trust this. I could trust this coach. I could trust this process. He's showing me that I'm getting stronger here. He's telling me that this is the pathway because all these other markers that I'm so used to looking at are signaling to me that this is not good.
Which brings us to the next one. Don't study your body or weigh your body. This is a tough one. So the conversations look like this. Get ready in the morning and don't study yourself in the mirror. Like, look at your hair, do your hair, you're done, get out of the way. Don't stand there and look at yourself and turn sideways. And what does this look like? Because here's what happens. Your eyes start to focus on the areas that you feel like are imperfect. Oh my God, I know I'm gaining weight, but now I can see it here, or I can see what's happening there. Don't study your body. Get out of the way. Stop looking in the mirror and don't weigh yourself. The scale is a very terrible metric at measuring any kind of success. It's measuring body mass. And it more often than not, especially when it comes to people who are afraid of gaining weight, it just pushes them in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
And then lastly, create new and strengthen new healthy behaviors. So you may find comfort in what you're doing, which is why you do it so often, or a sense of control. You can't just stop doing it and have nothing. It actually does something for you. There's a reason why you do it. Find a behavior that's healthy and try to strengthen that to replace the old behavior. So if you're a cardio fanatic, maybe it's stretching. Maybe it's reading or writing. Maybe it's art. Something that you enjoy that is not the thing that is no longer serving you. And then use that to bring you some comfort because you need to replace what you were doing before.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to ask you, Adam, about you were on Chalene Johnson's podcast.
Yeah.
Which was really cool because a large segment of our audience had never heard you or us before, which was just cool.
Yeah. No, the response has been incredible. In fact, it's still going right now. She did a post not that long ago of a clip from it and the amount of ads and messages that I've received from it. I really liked how she did the interview. I don't listen to the interviews that I do unless my wife says something to me. You should listen to that. And I said, why? And she goes, it was really good. And she goes, and she did it different than I've heard somebody interview before. So I listened so I could see what it was. And it was actually really cool the way she clipped it. So she edited the content in a unique way. So out of all the interviews I've ever done, I hadn't had somebody do it this way where she had sat me down and she wanted to just like basically hit me with these questions that I wasn't prepared for. It was just like, and then I would like quick answers to her, and that she coached me on that. Like, I just want you just direct, straight, whatever. And I was like, I get it. I get what you're looking for, right? She wanted like short, clippable type of to the point answers, not long-winded nuance, right? So she did all that, and that was what was the front of the episode, and then the rest was more conversationalist about, and so more in depth about those types.
You guys
topics.
talked. There was a lot of interest in peptides,
mostly about peptides. So I actually referenced you a few times when it got to places where I'm like, it's a better question for my co-host who is way better with the studies and remember them. In fact, one of the ones where I was referring to you that I wanted her to like understand was that there's this. She was talking about Reta and
Retatrutide.
Yes, and just how popular it is over there. She's like, you can't go to the gym over here and not overhear conversations of people taking it, and like people going like, "Oh, yeah, I got some. I can bring you tomorrow." So,
and it's still great marketing.
It is. So
it's not approved. It's not even FDA approved yet.
So this is not, which is crazy. And so we talked a lot about that, and she has also heard a lot of and what I talked about you that I'm like, Sal explains this study better than me because I know that initially a lot of the rat and chimp studies that we saw around it was so promising because it showed that you lost less muscle. In fact, it showed some built a little bit of muscle during this calorie deficit, which is just kind of mind blowing, right? I was like, but that doesn't tell the whole story. And so there's this misconception because those studies have gone viral and people have talked about it and it's being shared so much that Reta, which is coming down the pipe, is going to keep you from losing. So the wave has happened where so many average people have heard of GLP-1s now. And then it's even hit so many people that everybody probably listening right now either has experience with it or knows somebody that has experience with it. And if there's any sort of negative feedback that they've heard, aside from like the nausea and things like that, it's they lose a lot of muscle too.
Yeah.
And then the word on the street is that Reta keeps you from losing muscle.
No.
And that was kind of the conversation we're having. And I know it's because of those early studies that showed that, oh, they built some muscle. So now there's this misconception that, oh, when we get to the GLP-3, you know, now you won't lose any muscle.
No, we have phase 3 trials now. Doug, you can pull up the Retatrutide phase 3 trial muscle loss, and you can see on the average that people lost muscle on them like they do with other GLPs. There was some animal studies that showed a little bit less muscle loss. Reta causes so much weight loss that the muscle loss is significant. As a percentage of the weight loss, it did it better than, let's say, tirzepatide, but it still wasn't great.
Yeah.
So there are some mechanisms where it's trying to preserve, but you're going to lose muscle when your calories are really low
deficient,
and you don't lift weights and you're not eating enough protein. You can't get around that.
Yeah.
There's no way to get around that. You don't have the building blocks, and your body will try to adapt. And if you pull up the study, Doug, it'll give you, if you look up the study, I think it was like 28 to 30% or something like that, if not more. Some studies show up to 40% weight loss, up to 28 to 30% weight loss. But what was the muscle loss that we saw? That's what I want to pull up.
It just says reduction of both body fat and
So
lean mass.
it's a significant amount. And so here's the thing. It doesn't cause muscle loss. It also doesn't have this profound muscle sparing effect. It's complicated because it does do some interesting things. It does cause energy release from the liver. It does a few other things. But your calories are really low. You're not lifting weights. You're going to lose muscle.
Well, this is what I communicated to it is because that is what I wanted to dispel was that there is this rumor about it that it's like so much more miraculous than the GLP-1 and GLP-2 because it showed these promising studies around muscle preservation. And I'm like, what you're talking about is we're splitting hairs. If somebody is still in a significant calorie deficit where it's extremely low and they are not hitting protein and they'll lose as much muscle, if not more in this situation.
Yeah.
And so, but that's not the belief right now. The belief is that Reta's coming down the pipe and it's so much better than the GLP-2s.
So here you go. Phase 2, they had a phase 2 data, 35% of total weight loss came from lean mass. It's similar to other potent weight loss treatments, which are similar. So actually, it's not even that much better. It does seem to cause a little bit more weight loss than the other ones because it acts on 3 receptors instead of 1 or 2. But you're gonna lose muscle.
Yeah.
Because
getting around that.
if you eat really low calories, and that's what you do, and that's it, you're guaranteed to lose muscle.
So listen to the other thing that we speculated about. I speculated with her that I thought was because she asked me and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting question, and thought because all of the Reta that's out on the market right now is all gray.
Yep.
Okay. None of this is pharmaceutically regulated or FDA approved. Okay. Because
it's all research chemicals.
It's all research chemicals, all gray. What is the incentive, or why does somebody who doesn't have a regular GLP-1 or GLP-2 doesn't slap a label of Reta on there and sell it because it's just the hottest thing right now? And what's to stop them considering it's not regulated?
They do. They are selling them.
Like switching it out with the GLP-1.
Yeah.
Oh,
like why even go through the rigmarole to go and try and get GLP-3 when I got GLP-1? I got still boxes of that because I bought thousands of it from.
And why not just pretend?
Why not just pretend?
Nobody would know the difference.
No one's gonna know the difference.
No.
And that was and I'm like, wow.
You know what's
I'm like, you know what? It's not a matter if that's happening; it's how much of that is happening.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when they did when they do the big studies on the research, the research chemicals, when they bring them in, one of the biggest ways where they're mess up is mislabeling dosage.
Yeah.
So taking too much of a GLP, not a good thing, everybody.
Oh yeah, no.
You will not like the way you feel. It will not be good. By the way, Reta does have some some interesting side effects like skin tingling. And an elevated heart rate.
Heart rate, yeah. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So We'll see. It hasn't even passed.
I know, hasn't even got
regulation.
Well, this is what's it's interesting.
Still
that
great.
When one of the things her and I were talking about was just how crazy popular the gray market and the influencer pushing peptides and link in my bio game has become. It's like, it's insane.
I know. What's crazy about this though is that people are forgetting that hormone balance and hormone therapy is, if you benefit from hormone therapy, that craps on any other peptide or anything else.
It's the biggest mover.
If you got low testosterone as a man or a woman, your hormones are off, and let's say you go through our people at mphormones.com, you get your blood test, and they're like, wow, we could do some hormone replacement therapy. That's way more effective than a peptide.
Yeah.
Like you want that first.
This is exactly what I said to her. She gave me scenarios like, imagine I'm a, menopausal woman. I've got my hormones are all over the place and I'm struggling just to lose those 15 pounds. And she's like, what peptide would you put me? I'm like,
hormone therapy.
I'm like, that's definitely not what I would do. I'd get your hormones in check. I'd address your sleep. I'd get there's so many levers I would pull before I would even think to go to a peptide. I said, me getting your hormones is huge. So let's just pretend your hormones are good, right? So let's say you're on the thyroid, you got all that balanced, okay? So we got that. I even made the case that me improving your sleep by 10 to 20% is better than any peptide I'm going to put you on. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have the best of sleep already, and you're coming to me saying, I want to lose the next 5 to 10 pounds or whatever, what peptide should I take? And you're telling me you get 6 hours of sleep at night. Me not even making your sleep perfect, but improving it by 10 to 20% will give you better results than the greatest peptide out there. And that's where we're at right now, though.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. People are getting advice from social media on all this stuff, and 90% of the people communicating this are not experts.
No.
And look, I'm not an expert. I know stuff because I get to interview experts like Dr. Seeds, who I would say he's definitely the world leading expert on peptides and what they do, and good friends with him. And I've had him on the show a few times. I've been on his podcast. I will talk to people who want to be on our show who are quote unquote peptide experts. And then I realize 10 minutes in, whoa, I know more than you do. I can't have you on my show. If I know more than you and I'm not an expert, why the hell am I going to interview you?
Yeah.
So one thing you could do, by the way, we should say this, mphormones.com, there's medical professionals. Everybody will get a consult, 10-minute consult. So you can actually ask a medical professional what's going on.
That's the other thing too that I talked to her about. That it's like, this is why you should go through a legit source where a doctor or a medical professional
monitors it,
meets with you.
Yes,
because they won't put you on something you shouldn't be on. And so you have people that we started this whole podcast talking about body dysmorphia and anorexia and things like that. Like the last thing that somebody who suffers from anorexia.
Who do you think are the people that are going to be reaching out to the gray market?
This is big problem.
Huge problem. Huge. And
we've had callers call in.
And there's a medical professional that's asking you questions.
They're not going to put you on this?
No.
I have a history of anorexia. I need to be on,
even if you just have a few percentages of body fat you're trying to lose, and then people go to GLP-1. I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Why not build muscle? Why not let's mess with the metabolism? Let's work on sleep. Let's do all these other things. Yeah. Even then, it's like you're trying to lose weight. Like you're trying to restrict your eating. Like that's all. Like it doesn't equate to body fat. There's this weird disconnect there.
It's crazy. Speaking of which, we were just talking about how eat really low enough calories, don't lift weights, you'll lose muscle. There was a study that came out that is somewhat similar to what we were just talking about. So it was a huge review on calcium and vitamin D supplements. And so they did this huge review, and they found that older people who took vitamin D and calcium, that it provided no meaningful protection against fractures or falls for most older adults, okay? So most older adults taking calcium and vitamin D had no protective effect from the supplement. Here's why, everybody. If you're not giving your bones a reason to be strong, you can take all the vitamin D and calcium you want.
That's right.
It ain't going to do nothing.
You got to give the signal.
It's like eating more food but not lifting weights. You're not going to build more muscle. You're just going to get fatter.
Yep.
So taking all the bone nutrients or whatever. So when I read a study, it's funny because that makes headlines, right? Vitamin D, calcium, they don't help your bone strengthen.
Man.
No, they do.
So misleading.
But you got to give your body a reason to strengthen its bones. Like do some resistance training.
That's right.
You do resistance training, you get your vitamin D and calcium in check, and you're going to get stronger bones. Yeah. It works like clockwork. I've had many clients. Have you guys had clients go through and do bone scans while they train with you?
Oh yeah.
It's so predictable.
Yeah.
How much, how
It's
the
weird to me
strong.
that doctors always trip out on that, and they see results like that. And it's like, they should be teaching this. It should be like part of the protocol.
It's because how many of them don't strength train. It's so rare. I mean, how often do you guys, or how like excited do you get when you walk in and you see a doctor and he's jacked? You know?
Oh yeah. I'm like,
like,
oh, okay.
You're like,
I'll be good hands.
he's gonna get it, or she's gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Totally.
but so many times, it's better today. It really is. It wasn't that it was horrible 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, 20, 30 years ago, it's like you never saw a doctor like that.
The first time I had that, so every time I get blood tests, as a, because I've been working out since I was a kid, my CK levels could be a little elevated.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always through they go through this process, ask me questions, what's going on or whatever. And I eventually realized like, oh, it's because I work out and I have more muscle mass. And I'll never forget, first time ever happened, I had a doctor review my blood test. He worked out and he looked at me and he's like, oh, by the way, this is normal. It's because you lift weight. I didn't even have to say anything. He knew.
Yeah.
He's like, thank God. Thank God. But every once in a while it pops up still.
No,
They'll bring it up to me. And I'll be like, that's because I work out, right?
No, it's super. I've had a handful of my friends. I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast or not. I think I talked to you maybe off air a little bit about cholesterol with friends of mine that I just wouldn't think that they have high cholesterol, that all in all look pretty healthy. I don't know enough like every day what they're eating and doing stuff like that. But you typically think of somebody who's got that as like they have a really poor diet and exercise routine, and they're both active people and keep their body weight in check, but both have high cholesterol right now and looking to fix it. And when you see somebody like that, because I know you can eat like a ridiculous amount,
Mine doesn't get affected.
right?
It's weird.
Do you still recommend somebody, if they're in a healthy weight and they're working out, still to limit the red meat, lower some of that?
So there's a difference from person to person. There are genetic polymorphisms where saturated fat has a negative effect on their blood lipids. And so I've had a couple clients like that where we were doing everything right, and then we just had to adjust their fatty acid intake, and it did the trick.
Now,
Now I could have saturated fat all day long. I have no negative effect on my lipids. Every time they measure my lipids, they're like, these look like.
Yeah, sometimes it's like pure genetic, and like your dietary like contributions affect it little.
Yeah, so saturated fat will affect LDL in a lot of people. To what extent depends. Sometimes switching to grass-fed meat makes the difference. And sometimes they need to do, like I had to have my client reduce their saturated fat and boost their, other fat intake like olive oil and stuff like that, and fish, and it made a difference.
yeah.
But it depends on the person.
Now, being in a calorie deficit, will that make as much?
Usually gets better.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably in itself a lot of times will do it. It's just someone could be over-consuming, go on a little bit lower calorie diet for a little bit, minimize the amount of red meat you're eating, or switch to grass-fed.
By itself, by the way, unless it's extreme, blood lipids, and again, this is all, there's a lot of variance here. If it's extreme, then this is disqualified. But when you're out of range, blood lipids by themselves are not great predictors. By themselves.
Well,
you
that's
have to look at everything else.
That's where I'm getting at with you here, is because I feel like if that's the only thing they have,
like if you got good strength, you've got good fitness, your blood sugar looks good, your all the other metrics look good, but then your lipids are a little kind of out of range, which is typically what it is. It's usually not like this major thing. If it's major, that's different. It's not a huge predictor by itself. I mean, you can look up the stats on it. If people don't believe me, look it up.
Yeah, that's what, and this is the challenge I had with the advice with them, was that I'm talking about two people that all other markers are good, and they're not in some like crazy, like, oh, whoa, that's wildly, just they're a little out of the range. And so it's like, does this person really need to reduce red meat? Do they really need to do that? By the way, one of them, of the two, I know that he had just got done. We had just gone on this kick. So I had told this story a while back. This is a buddy of mine who wasn't really lifting that much weights. He was doing a thing in his garage where he was just kind of lifting weights all the time. And he'd never like consistently hit protein. And I'm like, that's all I want you to do is just, and so he really listened to the advice and was like, he's like, dude, this is crazy. I've never ate this much meat before. And then he ends up getting this blood test.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then it goes up. So it looks like, oh, my advice of having him push that, now granted, you obviously could still hit protein and change your choices
That's right.
of meat and everything like that. But I would argue that he's probably okay, and he's lifting weights, and because all other markers he's good. It's like literally that was his only thing that he was kind of high. So, but I was just like, listen, go when you try to minimize how much you're eating out. If you do red meat, go grass.
Sometimes cutting carbs will do it.
Yeah,
I've had clients like that too, where we didn't change that and we cut their carbs, and then we saw.
Now, do you think that's because it probably put them in a deficit a little bit?
So.
Yeah, that's probably why.
So.
They just put them in a little bit of a deficit, and then that probably leveled them out a little bit.
Totally.
So it'll be interesting because I gave him that advice and sent him a link to one of our supplements that helped that, and so we'll see what happens. Yeah. But I was really surprised by both of them, and it sucked when it was somebody that I had just.
This is your advice.
Yeah, and he was just seeing great. And,
thanks, Adam.
And he was seeing great results because he had never, he put on like 10 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. And you could see it on him. He looked good. He looked really good. But he had
this is where it gets weird.
Tough,
this is where it gets weird because you have this GLP data. You'll have by the way, there's an article that just came out. So typical person who's using a GLP is avoiding exercise. So a majority of them are not choosing to. Wow. Yeah, they're not.
It is alarming.
Yeah, bro, it's hard.
It should. Yeah.
Remember what I told you?
You definitely don't want to.
You're not. Like, it's hard enough to be motivated to lift weights. Yeah. We're all busy. We're all tired. We all work a lot. We all this. Okay, take that and now cut your calories down to 1,300 to 1,500.
For somebody that doesn't even train to begin with.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and you're going into deficit, and then all of a sudden trying to get motivation.
It's exactly what you said, Adam, and this is this problem. This is what it says. People's daily steps might drop after starting a GLP-1 prescription. New research suggests.
Yes.
Why? Because people, so here, doctors at St. John's Hospital, Illinois, and others examined Fitbit data from people with obesity who were prescribed a GLP-1 medication. People's level of physical activity significantly decreased.
Wow.
After starting a GLP-1 they found. Now, I'll tell you why. It's because they're cutting their calories way the hell down. They have no energy.
Bro,
no energy.
One of the best things I did was when I did that was going into it like I think a client would go into it and not trying to game it, right? Because this is what I experienced was just low energy. I did not have a motivation. I didn't have a motivation to work out at all, much less continue going, like increasing my steps or staying consistent. It was come home from work and I wanted to plop down in my giant beanbag and just take a midday nap because I was just tired, was so tired from it. And so it takes a lot of discipline for somebody to continue to do the steps, continue to do the workouts, and then also push to eat when you're not hungry. When you also know that I'm
trying to lose weight.
Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight.
Well, so my point with this is a lot of people are taking these peptides. They're losing lots of weight. Their blood markers are getting better, but they feel weak.
Yeah.
They're losing strength and they have less energy.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're just looking at the blood markers and going,
at their marker,
hey, you're moving in the right direction.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have a friend who's like, dude, I've felt so strong. I've got more muscle. I've got more energy. And his blood lipid numbers are a little off.
Yeah.
And so like, what do I need to do?
I know.
Yeah, what are we really looking at?
That's why I was so frustrated with it and was like I think that's why I reached out to you. Is like, I mean, how do I want to advise him right here? Because I just got him to build 10 pounds of muscle on his body and doing a good job. And now the doctor comes back and say, oh, your blood lipids are a little off. And now you should probably cut back red meat. I'm like, oh man, this is what
killing me, doc.
Yeah. So it's like, it puts you in that predicament of like, and I don't know enough because it's not like I'm really coaching this person. So it'd be different if I was a little more.
Yeah, see there may be something else.
Right. So I'm also careful not.
I'm having organic beer. Is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm also careful to not just be, ignore the doctor, counts. Do this. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, okay.
Speaking of that's a great transition. So you know how they have the World Cup going on right now.
Yes.
Like Scotland's in there. And I don't know, it's been years since they've really been in the World Cup. So a lot of Scottish fans flew in, and it was on the East Coast, it was in Boston. And so there's this statistic going around now that, St. Patrick's Day is a big thing in Boston. Like it just goes crazy, right?
They dye the river and everything. Right?
Yeah, everything. And everybody's drinking. And so you can imagine how much beer sales are. So apparently, like, it's been 3 times the amount of beer.
Wow.
Triple?
Scottish fans.
Wow.
This was a report out there that somebody posted. It's pretty funny.
This is like you just made me remember this. This has been a terrible year for Italy. They didn't get in the World Cup, and they came out with that just horrible Ferrari.
Oh no!
Just Italians are just destroyed,
happened,
bro.
Yeah.
My family is like they're so depressed, dude. They're not in the World Cup, and we have
I know,
we have an electric Ferrari.
Like,
What the hell's happening, dude?
Oh god,
Yeah,
an ugly electric Ferrari.
That's
That's
dude.
That's
Look at that! Look at this! Look at our Scottish soccer fans drinking all of the beer in Boston.
That's so, man. If you're a pub, you're loving it right now, huh?
That's awesome.
Champions.
That
dude.
is awesome.
Yeah, did you see the clip? Speaking of the World Cup, and it was what was it compare? Oh, it was comparing the New York Knicks celebrating after the Spurs loss and just all the fights and the trash and that. And then they showed Japan playing. Who did they just? Japan played somebody recently. I don't know who they played this last week, and I believe they lost. And they showed all the Japan fans afterwards. Crazy.
Oh, cleaning up the stands.
Cleaning up the stands.
Japanese culture is very
dude,
clean,
I mean,
order,
talk
contrast.
about huge. I mean, it wasn't like one or two people. Like
they're
all the Japanese fans that were in the stands,
pretty cool.
stayed after the game and had bags and were picking up the trash.
So I did judo as a kid, and I did Brazilian jiu-jitsu as a young adult. And judo I did in a traditional Japanese. It's in Japantown here in San Jose Buddhist Judo Club, one of the oldest judo schools.
Yeah,
and it was very traditional. And let me tell you the difference. You did Japanese judo. We show up. We set up the mats. We sweep the mat. This is basically part of the class. You sweep the mats, get everything ready. It's very professional. At the very end, we clean the mats again. We roll them up. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is like you show up like, hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? 15 minutes late, fist bump, do your thing. Totally different.
This is a
but
part.
as a kid, that's
this
how I
is a
learned.
part of our culture I don't like. Right? There's a bit, and I know we're in the world. We can be known as like the arrogant Americans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That there's so much that we can learn and take away from other cultures, and like what a great. I mean,
it's
you
admirable. With the
100%. You're in another country in another team's stadium. Your team loses. You stay after the game and you pick up the. Like that's
like a whole new standard.
Yeah, and it's like what's wild to me about that is those people are all strangers. It's not like there's not like a family of 10 people doing it. It's like there was like hundreds of people that like the whole culture that just that's what you do. You go somewhere, you make a mess. Doesn't matter if it's in a stadium, in a home, or what that like. You stay and you clean up your mat. Like that's.
Do you guys remember with the big earthquake that happened in Japan and was it the Fukushima power plant? And it was so radioactive that they needed volunteers to go down to help clean it, knowing that they would die.
It was the elderly, right?
Elderly Japanese people volunteered.
That's so.
They volunteered because they're like, I'm already old, so I'll go down.
Wow,
and I'll clean.
That was so cool.
It's such cool things about cultures like that.
Yeah, I know. I just wild to me to see hundreds do that. I mean, that says something about an entire culture. If hundreds of people get buy-in like that, you get. It's not to say there's not good people, and I'm sure there's somebody who's listening to this podcast like, I always clean up after myself. Well, you're one person. You're not an entire culture.
I've always wanted to go there because it's such a great culture. But then they got weird stuff, like some of their anime is really crazy. Like I wouldn't. Like what do you guys do?
It's a super clean place, and it is the culture to do that, to clean up after yourself. And good luck finding a garbage can on the street. Because people don't walk and eat food there. They eat it where they buy it or they take it home or wherever they're going and throw it away there. So, there's a lot of like little frustrating things about Japan, but I really appreciate how detailed they are and how conscientious they are.
Is it true that it's custom or it's part of the culture where like, I don't know, it's Fridays or whatever, everybody goes out with the boss and you got to keep drinking until he says, we're done?
So I never worked in the corporate world, but judging by the trains, I don't think it's just a week, Friday. I think it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Just get hammered.
Yeah, they get hammered.
Oh, that's funny. I saw a clip after this, and I don't know. I think it was attached to this, just like their culture and different things they teach and train and some of that. They are showing children when they're really young. This is to keep people from jaywalking, right? So the people you won't jaywalk as you get older. So when they're really young, there's like a stadium of kids, and they probably look like the kids must be 5 to 7 at the oldest, so young, like our kids' age, real young, and they're all sitting like in a school setting, and they show like a car full speed hitting like a child dummy.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's show the
Here's
kids.
what happens.
Yes. And so it's like one of those crash dummy like tests.
Yeah.
And it's like there's like front row seats of it, and like all the children are sitting and they get to watch like what happens to this. It's like
the red asphalt like video that we all had
yes.
to
I was gonna
watch.
say that.
Yeah, they don't even show that anymore.
No.
Come on.
That was if you got a point on your license or whatever and you had to go do traffic school,
look up how they train Japanese kids to not jaywalk and see if that pops up.
They would show you a video in traffic school of horrible accidents.
Horrible. Yeah.
Like brains.
And I get it now. Yeah. Back then I was like, yeah, wow, what is this?
Yeah, dude, did it slow me down though?
Immerse children is crossing courses, hands up rule.
Yeah, I'm not seeing their.
Yeah. Well,
there
it is right there.
Oh, really?
There it is. Yeah.
This one here, the second video.
Yeah, right there. Right
okay,
there.
yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
this can't be everybody.
Oh. Well,
Doug's
it's not
gotta log in.
available. It's Instagram. I'm not logged in on that computer.
Doug's been blocked.
Yeah. Well, I got to bring up some interesting science on our partner's super patch. So I was talking.
So wild.
So I had a couple of them on the other day. I don't remember, where was I? I went somewhere and I was with friends, and one of them was like, they noticed I had the patch on my arm. They're like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's what it was. I was training my buddy, who's a doctor, right? Science guy, doctor. So he's like, what's on your arm? I'm like, dude, this is the wildest thing.
Yeah.
Great person to talk to.
Oh, perfect.
You want to go ahead and sit down? I got to
I'm
explain
like, listen,
this.
this is the craziest thing. I said, it's called haptic technology. And so it's not transdermal. There's no chemicals. There's no medicine in it. There's no supplement in it. It's literally just a patch that sits on your skin, and the design on there creates tension on the skin and actually changes how we can measure your brain waves to match brain waves that would be like athletic performance or for sleep or for whatever. And his face, of course, is looking at me. He's like, get out of here, bro. I'm like, listen,
What are you talking about?
I was the biggest skeptic.
Yeah.
I sent him all the studies. I have yet to hear from him.
Oh yeah, I want to
sent
sing
him,
it. I want to
bro,
hear
there's like a dozen. So people need to understand this.
He did his homework, man.
There's a dozen peer-reviewed studies on super patches and how well they work. And the studies are wild. It's not like a little effect.
No, it's wild.
They
how much.
work.
Yeah.
It is really crazy.
Yeah.
So I use the sleep one all the time.
The pain one I use like crazy.
The pain one.
Yeah, I compare it to, and I think when I brought this up, I brought this up before, and you actually looked up, it is the exact the studies that show what percentage of pain. I said it feels like if I have a level 8, it brings me down to like a 5 or something, like a 5 or 6, somewhere like that.
It's like
right?
taking an
dampens
Advil.
it down.
Yeah, I compared it to taking an Advil.
It is similar.
In the
It's
pain study, it's as effective as an
Yeah,
NSAID.
like Advil has never felt miraculous to me, but if I have pain or
it's just not as loud. Yeah.
but yeah, it definitely dulls it, and it works. We know it works. Obviously, it's been around forever. Everybody uses it. And so when I use that patch, I'm like, this is what it kind of reminds me of. Only I'm not taking a pill. It's like this patch I can put on. And then you looked it up, and
so they have one for athletic performance, and they use them.
That's the one I want to try.
So they have one. So here's the deal. So it's measurable. It's about as measurable as caffeine, which is actually quite measurable. However, if you're an athlete, you have to use it consistently for you to notice the effect, because you can have a day that's off or whatever. But it's measurable. That's what the study shows. So I've used that one. I've used the pain one. I've used the sleep one.
I've used sleep one too.
And then there's one called Joy that's supposed to help with mood. And I think it works. Yeah. And it's really weird. I'm still skeptical.
I use the sleep one, and what's cool is
What's
that
the Liberty one?
I should look up what Liberty.
know,
They name them. They have names on them, and I'm like, I don't. What is that?
Because I have that one, and I was like, oh, what does this one do?
I think it just gives you freedom.
yes. The sleep one improved my REM. So I consistently measure my sleep already right now.
That's what the study showed.
And so it improved my REM.
Oh,
it was
Liberty patch, better mobility, balance, stability, strength, and control.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a whole bunch of these, dude, that are pretty. There's one that boosts metabolic rate. I got to look at the study on this. I still am skeptical, even though I use it.
I know.
And these are peer-reviewed studies. I still
because it seems so woo-woo.
It's a whole new
wild.
category of science. It really is. They invented or essentially created a whole new area of research.
I'm really curious to see how it spreads out, because I know he was like addressing the pro sports market, and like they're doing like wild things with athletic performance. But just to see like if it really does pervade, culture.
Well, isn't this the science behind Braille is very similar when you think about it. Like we just take that for granted because it's been around for a long time. But you ever think that somebody blind touches a bunch of dots and can
decipher it?
Yeah, decipher words and sentences and language.
Well, that's how it started, and what he did with the research, because he's an engineer. We did a whole podcast with him.
I know,
I'm gonna make it real simple.
Podcast.
He literally took there's tons of data on, I think they're called EEGs, right? That's the brain. Is that what the brain? Look it up, because I don't want to get this wrong. Tons of data, and there's EEGs on people in all kinds of different states of mind. He created an algorithm that could sift through it all. And then, like an engineer, he tested different techniques. And there's way more that goes into it. The guy spent, I don't know, $40 million of his own money, I think it was. And he would just put it on people and look and measure their brain waves. He's like, oh, cool, this one's producing the brain waves that seem to produce better athletic performance. Yeah. And then they would test it, and they ran the study, and then sure enough, it works. I mean, basically, he's an engineer.
It's wild, yeah.
I know. It's really, really crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's super cool.
Favorite shirt from Vuori. What's your favorite? Stratotech for me.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Well, I'm on the jacket.
That's the one that I wear all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I'd have to say Strat. That's the one with the pocket, right?
No. I think this
What's
is
the one with
Stratotech.
the pocket?
Doug's got one on right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have the Strato on?
I like the it's a little thinner, but it has a pocket on it, and it fits like a glove. Like it's very
Yeah. And you're still stuck on the jacket.
I am. I bought another one. You know that, right?
You got two now?
Yeah. I ordered a third one.
You got three now?
Yeah. So
Are they different colors? Or you getting the same?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I guess it's a fair question. I have like 5 of the same color pants. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it's a fair question.
That's how I wear clothes. I get the same color.
I mean, it makes sense. I feel like with the pants, like you having the black pants and all go together. But it's they're. I just like how light they are. I like that I can dress them up or down, and so they look really sharp if I want to look dressed up. If I want to be casual in them. So it's one of the things that I love about Vuori.
So I brought up the Stratotech because I was wearing Stratotech went to a church event with a bunch of friends, and right away people recognize now that I have Vuori's such a recognizable brand now. Yeah. So someone's like, oh, Vuori, I like them. So we started talking, and they're like, how do you know them? I'm like, oh, they sponsor the show. I've been working with them for a while. And they're like, how long have you been working with them? And I was telling them, like, we worked with them before they had one physical location. Yeah. It was Encinitas, right? Yeah. That was the only one.
Yeah.
And they were just tripping. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, it was all online.
Yeah.
We grand opened their first physical location. That a lot of people didn't know who they were. Yeah. And now everybody knows.
Yeah, we were the official first sponsor and partnership they had ever worked with. We reached out to them. So I explained this too to a lot of friends and people that we know that have started up podcasts and they've asked me questions about partnerships. And I said, we really did it different than a lot of people I know in the space. Most people they'll take whatever companies reach out or who will pay whatever amount. Where when we built this, we originally were going to do no ads, no anything like that. It was like there was no reason. We didn't need to. That wasn't the mission. Obviously got to a place where we had lots of companies that were reaching out, none that we were really interested in. And I thought, well, why don't I just try and see if I can go after brands that we like. And I got to credit Taylor, because Taylor was the one who introduced this, who worked for us way back in the day. Yeah, T-Dog.
T-Dog.
Who I don't know if I don't know if you guys remember this or not. I know I've said it to you before, but the big motivation of hiring him was, he's a good 10, 15 years younger than me. And I like to think that when I was younger, I was the cool kid who was on all the hip trends. I'm fully aware I'm not that cool guy anymore. Like I'm totally okay. I'm a dad now. I'm not cool. I'm not hip.
Too much to keep up with.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of work to stay up on the trends, to stay on that. But I love that, respected that so much, and know how important that is to the generation coming up. And he was that kid that I knew that was young enough and distant enough from my age that was like I was and he was always on the latest, newest stuff of everything. Mm-hmm. And so that was a lot of the motivation of bringing him on the team, is like, I want somebody who is up and up on all the latest brands and trends. Yeah. And I remember when he brought Vuori to me, and he's just like, we got to get with this brand. And so we reached out to Joe and the founder and basically presented to them. They're like, I don't know who you guys are, because they didn't know who we were at the time. And I was like, listen, I think this is right up our alley.
We're going to make you a household name brand.
Yeah. I didn't pitch it like that.
It's not 'cause of us.
What I did say is we had a very loyal audience. I really like your brand, and I think that it fits our demographic really well. Gave him like a sweetheart deal and told him this is a sweetheart deal. We can't afford to do a partnership like this forever, but let me prove to you that it's a worthwhile partnership. And so I made that pitch like that.
Was that 8 years ago? 7 years ago?
8,
Wow.
maybe
longer.
Maybe longer. They're one of the first.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're one of the early partnerships.
It's like 90% of my wardrobe.
I know.
I think all of ours. I mean, I have
So much better that way.
because they're always constantly. The one thing I get upset when we do these ads for them is they always have like new stuff coming out, and I don't even keep up with all of it. And then occasionally I'll go into the store. I'm like, damn, I didn't even know they had all this. Yeah. And we work with them, and so they're always coming out with new great stuff, and so it's an incredible brand. I love everything they do.
Look, if you've been listening to Mind Pump for any amount of time, you know how seriously we take gut health. We've devoted countless episodes to the microbiome, and for years we've stressed the importance of a solid, evidence-backed probiotic. And the best one we found by far, and the one that we've been taking daily ourselves, is Seed. So they have a daily symbiotic. It combines 24 clinically validated probiotic strains with a prebiotic, so that's what feeds the bacteria, in a patented capsule that survives digestion. It delivers the live probiotics all the way to the colon. Most probiotics don't make it there. This one does. It's not just for digestion, by the way. It helps with skin, helps with mood, it helps with sleep. It even helps with recovery. That's what all the data shows on beneficial probiotics. And again, Seed is the world's best. Go to seed.com/mindpump. Use the code 25mindpump and get 25% off your first month of Seed's daily symbiotic. Back to the show.
Our first caller is Alex from Washington.
Alex, what's up, dude?
How you doing, Alex?
Welcome back, dude.
What's up, guys? Yeah, I think it was February last time that we talked.
Yeah, so what's happening? Let us know. Give us a little review and then update.
Yeah. So when we first met, my personal goal was to lose fat. At the time, I weighed about 207, and I had just taken a DEXA scan, and it said I was around 30% body fat. So I met with you guys. I followed the advice to just prioritize protein, daily steps, and increase healthy fats. And since then, I've lost over 20 pounds. So I'm about 183 now. More importantly, I just feel really good. So I'm focusing on protein and activity instead of obsessing over, every single calorie. And that made the process a lot more enjoyable, a lot more sustainable for me. And so I feel like I've been able to build healthy habits, and I've been able to maintain a flexible metabolic lifestyle for months now, which has been really nice with the stage of life that I'm in. You guys gave me MAPS Anabolic, and I really enjoyed it. It was really nice to try something new. I'm not typically like a full body guy. I'm typically like we're doing shoulders today or we're doing chest today, but it was really nice to try something new. And I felt like my body really responded to like a new type of stimulus. So that was awesome. Basically at this point, I've lost weight. I feel good. I'm just trying to figure out what my next steps are. So I've noticed a little bit of strength loss. My goal right now isn't to bulk, but I would like to get some of that strength back. I am really liking how lean that I feel. I probably still have some body fat to peel off. So I don't know if I'm in like a recomp mode or what. I can kind of get into my calories too. My calories have actually gone up as I've lost weight, and my metabolism has increased. So I feel like I'm in what you guys have called the Goldilocks zone. So that's awesome. Just want to get a little stronger. It's a little, disappointing to feel a noticeable strength loss in all the core lifts.
It's pretty common when you drop 20 pounds, so that's, and I think you're actually in a really good place. I'd like to hear a little bit about, cause it's awesome that you've been able to kind of do this intuitive eating. What would you say is if you have what you think is not a great day eating, or what's the things that creep into the diet that were not ideal or would not be what you consider a really good day?
Yeah, a really good day. Like it's just a really good day is like being on it all day, and it's like chicken and rice, beef and rice. It's just like, getting good fiber. It's hitting my protein.
Yeah.
A really bad day is like I don't hit steps. I'm short on protein. I go out to eat with the family. Maybe I have, some wine or something for dinner. That creates like a poor sleep that night, and I'm kind of dragging the next day, and I'm trying to like play catch up the next day. So,
well, Alex, let me pause you there for a second. Because I have a couple questions before we get into kind of what you considered the bad day, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the strength changes that you noticed. Can you give me an example of where a lift was and where it is now?
Yeah, I used to be able to rep out like 185 on an incline barbell bench for 3-4 sets of 10 to 12, like pretty easily. I felt really strong in that lift, and I'm really struggling on 5x5s now. I'm able to hit 5 sets of 5, but
with the same weight.
With the same weight, but I can't do any more.
Okay. So here's what you want to do with strength when you start to lose weight. And now this isn't true necessarily for beginners. A beginner will often see strength go up as they lose weight. And so this can sound confusing to somebody who's experienced, because they'll drop weight and see strength drop and be like, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
But it's expected when you're experienced.
Yeah.
It's expected to go down in strength when you drop weight. What you want to look at is your strength to weight ratio.
Right.
So if you were doing 185 for 10 and you lost 20 pounds, your strength to weight ratio would be the same if it went down to 155 for 10. 20 pounds down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you've maintained your strength or maybe even gone up a little bit. If we start to look, and so you could do this with your lifts. You could say, okay, how much was I doing for 1 rep here? How much am I doing for 1 rep there? What is my strength to weight ratio? And if you're losing weight and keeping your strength to weight ratio around the same, you're totally winning.
Yes.
You're doing a great job.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sweet.
Okay. So that's number one. Now let's go back to what you defined as a bad, quote unquote, bad day.
Yeah.
What we need is a complete picture of what that actually means. So I need more information. When you're going out with your family and you're eating out and having a little bit of wine, what are some of the good things out of that day?
I mean, from a nutritional standpoint,
no, let's look at the big picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Big picture. I mean, it's a great social bonding moment, like with people who love me and care about me. And it means a lot to go and do things like that. So from that standpoint, like it's a great day. Good. Because what you're talking about right now, Alex, is you're moving towards what would be considered a lifestyle of health and fitness.
I'm so glad you went that direction with him, because it's where I was heading, which was, because I can tell just by looking at you from here, you're healthy and fit. You're in a good place. Now, does that mean could you be more ripped and maybe you want a little more of that? And what comes with that is sacrifice. Yep. So maybe less of those days that Sal's talking about for more abs. And I wrestle with this all the time, and I have to make that choice of like, do I enjoy every Friday night I can have a couple glasses of whiskey and enjoy good barbecue ribs with my wife and not count calories, and you know what, I'm not going to look like Stage Adam that way, definitely not, you know what I'm saying? And if I'm in a season in my life where I'm like, you know what, I want to ramp it up a little bit, I'm going to have less of those for a while. And so I think you're kind of in that place right now where I think you're in a very healthy, balanced, and I think if you just keep kind of going the way you are, you're going to slowly just keep recomping, getting strong, getting a little bit fitter. If you wanted to see that faster, or you wanted more leanness, then you would have less of those days. Yeah. You'd have less of those days, and you'd have more abs. But then you have to ask yourself, and I always encourage people, go through a season where you do that. You know, make those sacrifices, get shredded to prove to yourself that you can, say no to all those days, and see if you're happier. Most people are not. You know what I'm saying? Most people, they get there and temporarily go, this looks badass. And then they go, but boy, I missed that night with my wife, and it would have been really nice to have that popcorn in that movie. And so I think you're right there. I feel, at least that's what I hear and I feel from you, is that you're kind of in that place right now.
Yeah, you're doing a good job, dude. Mm-hmm. You're actually kicking ass. You really are. There's a couple things you could do when you eat out if you want to make it a little bit more conducive to like fitness goals. Like what I'll do is I'll still go out and enjoy myself. I'll just won't eat carbs. That's really easy for me to avoid. So I can have the steak and vegetables and the glass of wine. And so now the calories are a little bit lower. There's little things like that, but fitness isn't life. Life is not fitness. Fitness makes life better. Yeah. Like on people's exactly. So like on people's deathbeds, people never say, I wish I worked more, or I wish I had better abs, or I wish I avoided, that dinner with my wife. Nobody says that.
I want that on my tombstone.
People may say, I wish I took better care of myself so I didn't get a heart attack. Like that might happen. But oftentimes what they say is, I wish I spent more time with my family, or I especially, so you're in that phase where you're like, man, I'm getting this lifestyle that's really improving the quality of my life. And what I would say to you, bro, is just stay the course.
Yeah.
The mistake you can make right now, Alex, is to start to look at it and everything's going good, and then to start to be like, how can I make this happen faster? Mm-hmm. And that can be a mistake. That can be a trap. As far as programs are concerned, I see you asked the question about MAPS Powerlift. I think that'd be a great program.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wasn't sure where to go from here. Again, like I'm in a really good spot right now where I'm not focusing on every detail. I just want to stay the course and continue to build strength.
Yeah.
Not really sure what program, but I know you guys have a program like Powerlift. So wanted to get your input.
Yeah, I think Powerlift is a great program. And my advice following it would be when you're hungry, feed. So like if all goes well, your appetite will increase while you're going through this, and feed yourself, but make good choices.
Yep.
I mean, allow that. And if we do that correctly, it should make this real natural reverse diet for you, where the calories keep going up. We should see strength go up. I don't really care with the scale, because you're at a good weight. I don't need you to be any lighter than what you are. So, I mean, if the scale goes to 187, who cares? Especially if strength is going up, that's a really good sign, and appetite going up and eating more. So that's what we're watching, is to see that and feel that. And I think you will lean out in the process, and you'll lean out not through dropping weight on the scale, but through building more muscle. And so,
for sure.
That'll probably, have you done another scan since you did the 30% one? Do you know where you're at?
I actually haven't, and I didn't because I realized it kind of just robbed me of my happiness before. And although it sent me down this path of like,
you're good, dude.
Doing something about it. Like Sal, I think last time we talked, it was like, it sounds like it stole the happiness from you, and basically. And I was like, you know what? I think it did,
bro. You are in such a good place.
Yeah, you're in a good place. That's a good place, bro. That's a good place.
Yeah. You're literally on the right path.
What I do love is that my calories, like when I was at like 1900, 2000, really trying to cut. And now I'm eating whenever I'm hungry. I'm at like probably 2,500 the last time I actually tracked all day. And I'm not gaining any weight. So I'm maintaining around 183 at like 2,500.
Isn't that weird?
So it's crazy. It's crazy. My metabolism is firing. I don't want to cut any more calories. I'm at about 8,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
Some days are lower, some days are a little bit higher, but average about 8,000. So like, I think I'm humming along. And I have you guys to thank, because I feel like I have that. You guys talk about like metabolic and lifestyle flexibility, where I call it a bad day, but it's not a bad day. Like I go out and I have that flexibility where I can go and do whatever with my family, and then I can still maintain the goals that I have, like big picture. So
good
it's
job,
pretty
bro.
sweet.
Yeah, you're killing
success story.
Yeah.
Total success story.
You're And honestly, if you're probably falling around 24, 25, and we go into Powerlift and you eat when you're hungry,
you'll probably go up.
You'll probably go up around 2,800, maybe even 3,000 calories, and be able to still kind of maintain your body composition.
I'll tell you what. So at this point, if just the only advice I'd give you is cycle through our programs and just focus on the physical aspect of it. So like Powerlift is great. Yep. I think Symmetry would be phenomenal.
Bridge everything
after that, and then you can look at different programs and see what looks fun.
My advice I give all callers or people that we're coaching is either Symmetry or Performance, cycle through once a year. That'll address any imbalances. It's got unilateral work. It's got rotational stuff in there. And the one bad thing about anabolic and powerlift, if you just ran those all the time, is you'll get really strong, but you're not addressing a lot of the imbalances, rotational stuff, unilateral stuff, and that'll keep you healthy, take care of those joints long term. Yep. So as long as you cycle through one of those two programs every year and just keep on this path, you're good, man. Yep.
Nice. My other question, as I was doing anabolic, I obviously there's barbell squats. I know you guys talk about doing barbell squats all the time. Man, my right shoulder is so uncomfortable holding the bar back there. I'm not sure what to do. So I've opted for belt squats, hack squats. I've gotten strong, but I know that I would like to be strong at back squats, and I have a lot more to give there, but I rack it because my shoulder can't take that position.
Where do you feel the pain?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to describe it. So I can describe it this way. When I do a shoulder press with dumbbells, I can keep my elbows slightly inwards. So there's no pain at all. But when I start to go all the way back, like a full blown, like behind my neck, it starts to just really feel super tight and uncomfortable in my right shoulder.
Okay. So you could definitely fix that. There's some scapular issues there, a little bit of pec tightness, maybe bicep tendon tightness. I'm going to send you Prime Pro, and in Prime Pro, start doing the mobility movements for shoulder and scapula and practice those daily. And get under a bar.
External rotation.
Get under a bar. You don't got to squat, but get into a bar. Focus on squeezing the shoulder blades down and back. Grab wider on the bar. That might help. And then just practice holding that position without pain. But do the mobility movements in Prime Pro. That'll take care of that.
Okay. Sweet.
Yep.
I will.
It, dude.
Thank you, guys.
All right, dude. Thanks for calling in.
Keep it up, Alex.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Take it easy. What a success story.
What a great story. What a great story.
Success. You know, it's funny. If being ripped was the way to happiness, then the happiest
I'm so glad you went that direction, because that's where I was heading with him. I wanted to hear him define to me what was good or bad, right? And so I could hear that, and because I could tell he looks great. He
lost 20 pounds doing all the good right stuff.
Yeah, so he looks very healthy where he's at. So, and I think this is the trap. When you start to see great results, it's similar to the money trap. You start making a little more money, more money. You just keep moving the goalpost.
Yeah,
and then
you get more paranoid,
and you continue to sacrifice things for moving that goalpost. And so, you have to ask yourself, if this thing that you call a bad day, and you challenged him on it, was like, well, what was so bad about it? Well, no, I got great hanging with my wife, doing all this stuff. Yeah. It's like, hey, you want to get down to 8% body fat? Just do less of those. Yeah. And then ask yourself, is that worth that? Like, are those abs worth less of those days? And if it is, hey, so be it. Who am I to judge? That's up to each person. But it's like, you're in a really great place.
I'm going to say this again. If happiness was defined by being ripped, then the most ripped looking people would be the happiest people. And here's the truth. They're not. They're far from the happiest people. It is not the path to happiness, no matter how much they sell it on social media.
But I do think, and that's why I said it to him, that there is value. I think everybody has to figure out their path.
There's nothing like experiencing it.
Yeah, there's nothing like saying, I'm going to do that for you. And you could, dedicate 3 months of your life. It's not your whole, it's a small part of your life. 3 months, and make all those sacrifices. Be the person who carries their Tupperware around. Don't go out to those dinners. Don't have that drink. Do that thing for a while. Get those abs, and then ask yourself, am I happier? Did this make me better? And if the answer is no, and maybe what you find is there's somewhere in the middle of that where, and I feel like this has kind of been part of my own journey of figuring out what that looks like. And it's like, I know there's a balance, where I want to enjoy that drink. I want to enjoy that dinner. I want to enjoy that popcorn. But there's also times where I'm like, I don't need to do that.
Yeah. Why am I eating candy watching a movie?
Exactly. It's just like, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday night. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's like, then there's times where it's like, oh, this is a really nice night. I've got no kids, me and my wife. And it's like, I'm going to enjoy that night.
Totally.
Our next caller is Amber from Texas.
Hey, Amber.
How you doing?
Hey, guys. How are you? Just trying to stay cool over here in this heat.
How can we help you?
So this is a follow-up. I called in earlier in the year about starting a GLP, and then Sal yelled at me and he's like, you shouldn't be on a GLP. I'm just kidding. He was very honest because, I had said that I had a history of an eating disorder, and so I shouldn't have been on it. But I wasn't going to do this follow-up because I probably don't have the answer or, the follow-up that maybe, not saying you were hoping for, but I didn't stop the GLP. I did have the dose, but there was an episode that I listened to where a mother was considering putting her teenage son or something on one. And I was like, you know what, I need to follow up because the GLP gave me a whole lot of anxiety. Since I've halved it, my anxiety has gone down. I'm not blaming it all on that, but it was just so bad that I was like, you know what, let me call in, let me do a follow-up and be honest. So being honest, I did not stop the GLP. I'm on a tirzepatide compound, but I did have the dose. So I am able to eat more, and my anxiety did go down once I started having that dose. And since then, I went and I've got blood work a couple of times, and my gynecologist gave me a diagnosis of something called adenomyosis. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
I'm familiar.
Yeah,
yes.
so I have that. So I have a hysterectomy that's scheduled for August, and I was also low on testosterone. So they were going to put me on pellets, but then I remembered you guys talking about Vita Bella. So I actually just signed up with them. I started my testosterone shots yesterday. And so with all of those changes, I'm still on the GLP. I'm doing NAD with the shot. I'm doing the testosterone now, the 0.1 milliliter, the small dose, and I'm doing the vitamin D3 daily. With my upcoming surgery in August, my hysterectomy, they're going to leave the ovaries in. Should I change anything as far as my training, my nutrition? Like, what should I do to prepare for this surgery? Should I take advantage of the testosterone and try and get as strong as I can before surgery? What do you guys suggest? I know it's a lot of information.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. And so I do want to address, first off, I'm going to be very clear, none of us are doctors here. So we're personal trainers. So you're going to be hearing.
Well, you guys have helped me a whole lot more than my doctors have.
So there's going to be I'm going to give you some answers based off of my experience with clients and some speculation. Okay. So just take it for what it's worth. I will say this. Some people do experience anxiety with GLPs because they do have an effect on resting heart rate. They will increase resting heart rate pretty predictably. And the stronger ones tend to do this more. The data on Retatrutide shows that it raises it more than tirzepatide. Right. Tirzepatide seems to raise it more than semaglutide. And so for people that are very prone to anxiety, that may be a side effect. Now, it's not widely observed. A lot of people lose weight, get better with their anxiety, especially people who suffer with obesity and stuff like that. The other reason why sometimes people get anxiety on a GLP is their coping mechanism is food. You take away the food, I still have the anxiety. What do I do now? Type of deal. So that might be another mechanism. But what you're saying isn't unheard of. So I'm glad you kind of lowered the dose. Okay, so adenomyosis. So this is where there are cells that kind of proliferate and grow.
Yeah, they grow into the uterus.
Yeah, and so they're basically removing this and they stop that from happening. It's a big surgery. It's a pretty big surgery. When you look at the relationship between testosterone and this condition, there seems to be no or a positive association, meaning raising testosterone may actually help because this condition is estrogen related. I want you to ask your doctor and confirm everything I'm saying, okay? Because I could totally be wrong. So you got to get cleared from them first. Now, from a fitness perspective, it's always best to go into a surgery stronger and heavier.
Yeah, stronger, well-fed.
Not just more muscle, but more body fat.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what body fat, you don't like that. Yeah. What body fat are you sitting at right now, Amber?
I don't know. I don't weigh myself. I don't take my body fat measurements. When I was signed up with Vita Bella at the doctor, I said, do not tell me my weight because it's still pretty triggering for me. But I know I've lost at least 20 pounds, maybe that,
You're pretty lean. You're better off going into a surgery with more muscle and fat, not just muscle. That's going to be protective through the recovery process. So people who go into surgery who are weak and or low body fat do very poorly. People who go in with a lot of muscle with low body fat don't do super great. They do better, but they don't do super great either because they don't have stored energy, which is body fat. So if you really want to do well, I would go on a bulk. Now, that doesn't mean eat a bunch of garbage because there also may be an association between insulin resistance and your condition. So I don't think you should eat a bunch of garbage, but it probably is a good idea to gain weight going into the surgery. It'll make your recovery better.
Okay, that makes sense. It's scary, but I will try to eat more.
Yeah, because you're going to need some weight to lose. When you get a hysterectomy, you're going to be recovering. You're not going to be able to do much. You need weight on you for your body to use as energy. Your appetite's going to be low and you're not going to be moving much. So you need to go in with some stored energy. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So bulk and maybe just I'm doing like a full body routine about 3 times a week. So, and I didn't want to change it when I started the test just to see if I get stronger with, if adding the testosterone alone make me stronger. Cause I did get weaker with the GLP. My strength did go down. So I guess staying on that same training up until the surgery.
Yep. But definitely increase your calories, keep lifting weights. Testosterone should be totally fine. Clear it with your medical professional, with your doctor that is doing the procedure. Let them know, hey, I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. Are there any contraindications? Do I need to go off? Is it going to affect anything for the surgery? Do I need to do anything else? And then just see what they recommend and go with what they say. But for my from my understanding as a trainer, and I'm talking to you, so this would be different advice for everybody else. Go gain some weight and then go into the surgery. That'll be your best bet for recovering from the surgery and bouncing back.
Do you see that as possible being on the GLP-1? Can you eat more?
Being on the GLP?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay.
I'd probably have to get off of it or probably have to get off of it.
That's why I asked, because I would consider that. If you're already, you already feel like it's work to eat what you eat now, and this is where we're at, probably consider even lowering the dose more or eliminating it for this period of time. You can always go back in afterwards, but if you're already struggling to eat what you eat now, and we're asking you to eat more during this period of time, that's probably going to be tough. Yeah,
you don't want to be catabolic going into a catabolic state.
Okay,
surgery,
that makes sense.
Yeah, surgery and recovery is like really catabolic, so you want to go into a kind of anabolic. So what's your body weight at now, Amber? Do you have an idea?
She has no idea.
You have no idea?
I'm going to guess about 120. I don't know. I mean, people ask me like, it's to the point where people are asking me like, are you okay? Like, do you have some kind of,
Amber, yeah. When's your surgery?
August 13th.
Okay. You think you can gain 10 pounds by then?
I can, whether or not, I mean, I'd have to probably talk with the therapist while I go through it to do that, or just, I guess my thing would be thinking about the end goal, what would my future me thank me for, and just being able to come back faster for work, for my kids, for life. And it'd take a lot of mental, I can physically.
Are you going to listen to us this time? I feel like you didn't listen to us last time.
I kind of did. I halfway did.
I mean, kind of.
Tiptoed.
I'm afraid the same thing's going to happen here. I feel like you're nodding your head. I feel like you were nodding your head last time, and then you got off and you was. Yeah, you were. So I feel like we're having a very similar conversation here where the answer is...
You don't want to be really frail after your surgery, huh?
No.
That'll happen.
No, I don't.
You might come out of it really frail.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can gain the full 10, but I can promise you that I will either decrease or get off the GLP. And I'm promising myself this. That way, again, after I have the hysterectomy, I can come back faster, because I'm a workaholic. I need to get back to work like the day after surgery.
I think 10 is minimum. Yeah. I think that's a very conservative.
Okay.
So I just want to stress that, because if you half-ass listen to us, I'd rather tell you 20 pounds and then you half-ass and give me 10. Because 10 is
then tell me 20.
Yeah, I think you should shoot for 20.
Well, we got August. So what are we in right now? June?
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this, Amber. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to have you on in 30 days. So that'll give us some time before your surgery. And so we'll do another update. And if you don't do what we tell you, okay, I'm going to chastise you on air in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me van a regañar otra vez. Okay. Good. All right. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you in 30 days.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
Amber.
Amber.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bro, yeah. No, she didn't listen to us the first time.
No. She lowered the dose, she said.
Yeah, but to a area where she still is not eating.
I know.
Listen,
being really obese going to surgery, bad outcomes. Being frail going to surgery, worse outcomes.
I remember this conversation. Now, to me, I mean, I obviously remember Amber because we've met her before, but I couldn't remember the exact conversation we had. Now it's coming back to me right now. We were very adamant about her being off of GLP.
I know. There's no reason for it.
She has prior eating disorder.
Yeah, I know.
And so somebody who so for the listener, do not.
If you had an eating disorder,
if you have an eating disorder in the past, a GLP-1 is a horrible idea.
It's heroin.
Horrible. Yes. horrible idea. Any dose of it, horrible idea. It is dabbling in something that you already, I mean, it's like you said.
The sense of control that people get from restricting themselves when they have an eating disorder is a big reason why they have the eating disorder.
Yeah.
Now you have a tool
That helps
that gives you more power to restrict.
Right.
Yeah.
It's heroin for the person with the eating disorder.
And no dose of it is a good idea. No. It's not a good idea. No. And so, and now I remember this conversation and look at, we got off the call and she quote unquote half listened to us and still is not a good place.
I want to know what she said in Spanish. I
know. I was like,
it sounded sexy.
Dios mío.
She probably said something.
It sounded sexy.
I'm not doing anything you're telling me, you moron. Well, I'm sure somebody, one of the audience will know what she said.
Our next caller is Kennedy from Missouri.
What's up, Kennedy?
What's happening?
Good. How are you all?
Good.
How can we help you, dude?
So a little background. I started working out when I was about 17 and started listening to y'all around the same time. So about 2017. And then in 2019, I had a bad work accident and had glass fall on me at work and cut my leg open. And so I was out for about 6 months and I lost probably 30, 40 pounds. And so when it came to putting that weight back on, I didn't do it correctly. I know that. It was just eat, trying to get as much my weight back as possible. And then just like seeing myself, I kind of like fell out of love with it. And now the beginning of this year, I kind of started like really getting back into it. Like I worked out the whole time, but just never like continued to track my calories or anything else. So at the beginning of the year, I was at 196 and just not the way I wanted to be. And so I have been cutting for just to get back to where I want to look like. And then I was going to try and put some mass on after that. So since January, I've lost about 20 pounds. My strength stayed about the same. So I don't feel like I've really messed that up any. But I just want to know, do you guys think, I know you guys talk about like increasing calories and adding mass, and it helps you lean out differently than, so I was just wondering your guys' opinion on that and how that would go.
Yeah.
I'm curious to the look that you're trying, because it says your goal is to lean out down to 165. You're a 6 foot tall dude.
Yeah, I was just wanted to get, like, I'm 180-ish right now, 178, I think is the last time I weighed in.
Which is a good weight for you.
And I'm about 20% body fat-ish. I had a scan last week, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's back up for a second, Kenny. First off, you've been listening to us since you were 17, so I appreciate that, man. That's really cool.
Cool. Yeah.
What happened with the accident where you cut up your leg? Any nerve damage?
Yeah, so I worked at the local glass company for a family friend, and one day I was moving a few mirrors for him, and they ended up slipping and falling on my leg, and so they shattered and cut basically from, I'd say, like 4 inches below my knee to it's like a horseshoe down my leg that just like filleted off basically. But yeah, so it cut basically to the bone. Wow. So yeah, my whole right side leg is from where the cut started to down it is pretty much numb, but I have full function of it. It's just that outer portion is pretty numb to the touch.
Wait, okay, so there's full function, so you don't have a
yeah.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah,
good.
I got
your muscles are
most
still
of my
contracting
function.
and everything.
So
Okay, so you can squat bilaterally. There's no like big difference between right to left. Balance is good. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. All right. Sounds like it was very traumatic though.
Yeah.
yeah, it was rough.
Yeah,
It was a few.
All right. You still think you're dealing with that a little bit?
I think there's certain things like I can't do, or it feels weird, I guess. Maybe not can't do. I can do everything, but like I know like lunging with that leg back it's really tight. Like my Achilles got shortened or something, and it's really tight on the back end, but I can do it. It just feels awkward.
What about psychologically? What did that do for like body image and stuff? Because it sounds like you were working out, had a good relationship with it. That happened. I'm just kind of paraphrasing.
Right.
That happened, and then you're like, I got to gain I lost all this weight because for 6 months you're healing, and I got to gain weight, and you said you did it the wrong way, and now you're kind of you're trying to eat real little. I can see what calories you're eating right now. Do you think that there may have been a psychological impact from all that? In all honesty,
yeah, I think for a long time there was. It felt like I wore pants for years after it. Didn't want to wear shorts. They had like 2 drains in it, so there's like these 2 like little scar holes that where the drains came out. They're still there. And being a big athlete, like not being able to play the sports I used to play, that bothered me for a long, long time. But other than that, I wouldn't say it was like a huge psychological thing. I mean, yeah, definitely. I had the sound of glass still bothers me if something drops, and that still freaks me out. But I think it's been long enough now that I've like really prayed about it and talked to family members and doctors and stuff like that about it, and has helped. So
good, man. Yeah. Spoken like a good man. You're a tough dude, because that's rough. So I think you're still dealing with some of it, and I can see it in your diet. It says here you're eating 1,500 to 1,900 calories a day, which is really low, dude.
After I emailed you guys, I emailed you all after I listened to a podcast, and I think Adam was talking about his wife and a reverse diet and had her somewhere, and I was like, okay, if she's eating that many calories, like I'm way too far under.
Yeah.
And so I'm at like 2,100 now, but I'm at like 185 grams of protein a day.
Too low.
Yeah.
Too low, brother. You're lifting 6 days a week?
6 days a week, yeah.
And you have a physical job?
No, I'm office job.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do, and you tell me if this is realistic for you, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want you to track. All I want you to track is your protein, and I want you to eat when you're hungry. And I mean eat until you're satisfied.
Yeah.
We're gonna let your calories go up, brother. Now, if you were to track, I'd have you immediately go up to 2,600 calories. Immediately. And then after that, I'd have you go up even higher. But I think the tracking may be part of the problem. And so whole natural foods, hit your protein. Don't do the thing where you eat the lean protein. Eat the fatty cuts. When you're hungry, eat. Eat until you're satisfied. 6 days a week of strength training is too much. I think we could put you – I have 2 programs in mind that I think might be good for you. You tell me what sounds better. We could do something a little bit of bodybuilding focus, or you used to be an athlete. Would you like to get some of that athleticism back? Because I have another program I can put you on. Okay.
Yeah, I would. That's my main goal is I want to be athletic. And when the time comes and I have kids, like I don't want this leg problem to be a problem.
No. I'm sending you MAPS Performance, and I want you just to hit your protein and eat when you're hungry, bro.
Yeah.
And stop weighing yourself.
I want to address how I started the conversation with you, where you're at, because follow the advice exactly where it's laid out. At 20% and 180 pounds, you don't need to go anywhere on the scale. Like you could be 10% body fat and 180 pounds. Like this. So what I'm trying to say is that a good goal is not to move on the scale at all, especially down. You're at 6 foot tall, you could be 180 to 200 pounds and be lean and jacked. And so there's no reason to go down. Like let's build muscle and you'll lean out. Yeah. So if you ate more and followed MAPS Performance, you would get leaner and probably stay the same weight. Yes.
Okay.
So
I did buy MAPS Aesthetic at one point.
That's a lot.
And I ran that. Yeah. It was hard. No. Yeah, I loved it. But it was hard.
I can only imagine on 1,500 to 1,900 calories too. That's a lot.
No, at that point I wasn't really tracking at that point. That tracking has only started since January. Okay. I was like, I can't stand being this big or feeling this big. And
aesthetic's the wrong program for you. Yeah. Do performance.
I mean,
Go ahead and hit your protein and eat when you're hungry, bro.
I'm trying to get to like your training. Like, have you ever thought about working with a coach and not just, working out? I just feel like there's a little hesitancy with the legs performance and its strength, which I bet you're making a lot of strides and you're not seeing it because nobody's there kind of reinforcing that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would just be something to consider just because a lot of times we get in our head because of, past things. And a lot of athletes I've trained before have had injuries and it's a really hard hurdle to get over again.
Totally.
But when you start to get somebody to reinforce the fact that you're making a lot of progress and stride when these incremental angles, like now I can actually like cut better. Now I can actually jump and I can do all these like, performance moves again. You get more confidence in that. And I just feel like, maybe somebody just build that confidence in your leg, because I guarantee, you've probably made a lot of stride and a lot of strength there that you're just probably not seeing yourself.
Kennedy, were you a runner or a wrestler?
I played soccer and men's volleyball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just curious because your idea of like the weight into your height ratio, like it's like you do not have to be that light. It's, I mean, Justin, I'll tell you, you're 6 foot.
6 foot. I'm 235.
235.
285.
35.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
You don't want. I don't want you any lighter than that, bro.
Yeah.
You're plenty light. You know what I'm saying? Let's build some muscle. Let's eat some food.
You can very easily build into what you're looking for.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
it might be a mental thing from high school, just being like,
this is 100%. Yes, it is.
That's why I asked that. The reason why I asked and why I thought maybe you were a runner or a wrestler is because this tends to happen with my runners or my wrestlers. My runners and wrestlers are so obsessed with keeping their weight down because they need it for their sport. And so they're obsessed with a number on the scale when it's like, dude, you could totally weigh 20 pounds heavier and have the body you want or whatever. So you have that. You have that mentality a little bit. So that's why I assumed that
Kennedy,
was the sport.
listen, I want you to have fun. I want you to start enjoying this again, dude.
Yeah.
Like fall in love with it again. When you follow MAPS Performance, here's how I want you to feed yourself. Hit your protein and then feed yourself for performance. Man, I need more energy. I got to eat more. That's what I want you to think. Am I moving better? Am I stronger? Am I faster? This is fun. That's what I want you to focus on. I don't want you to focus on the scale or the mirror or leanness. I want you to focus on, am I enjoying this? Am I having fun? Can I move better? That's going to move you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd love to check back up on you after this too.
Yeah. You want to get back on in 60 days? Let's talk with you again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I'm sending performance to you.
Yeah, and let's just talk about your strength improvements in the next conversation.
Yep.
I want to hear all about it.
Okay. Sounds good.
You
All
got
right,
it, man.
Kenny,
We'll
right
see
on.
you
Send that
then,
over to you.
dude.
Thank you all for everything you do.
You got it, brother.
Right on.
Thank you.
I thought for sure he was a wrestler or a runner.
Oh, well, soccer's not close.
Yeah, and volleyball. They both, I know, try and keep their weight down and their light. But that's because
The lean physique.
bro,
we're
6
trying
foot
to
tall and 180 is
I think
small.
It is. And I think it's
Definitely.
more than that. He loved, because he said this, he loved fitness, had a tragic accident. And when you're a fit person, when you're an athlete, and then suddenly you can't do anything
removed from you.
for 6 months.
Yeah.
And you come back, you're looking for control.
Well, did you
And
hear-
so this has become control for
Well, did you hear him
than
also?
people
He
think.
said there was a past high school food thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had some food stuff and keeping body weight down low. I mean, the fact that his goal, I mean, you guys didn't hear him, but is written up here that he wants to be 165.
No, I know. That's
What?
No.
165 and 6 foot, and
you're tiny.
and you want to be athletic and strong? No way. That's like frail. No way, dude. Yeah, no, he should be at least 180.
And we cannot understate the trauma that being unable to do what you want physically for 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you know how depressing that is?
No,
I was just
you
sick.
gotta love
just
how
sit and stew in
a man describes
That's
that.
why I said, he said, spoken like a man.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but, you
yeah.
know,
I'm
sound of
over it.
glass.
Yeah, sounded glass.
Sound of glass freaks me out.
Sends chills down my back, but I'm fine.
No, you're not.
That's why
bro.
you need. I don't know. That's why I kind of was talking about the coaches. Just, you need
You're
another
right.
person, like, because
Actually, a
he's
sports
in his
psychologist
head.
would be
Yes,
good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's actually, maybe we'll give him a contact. I have.
Why don't you send that,
a
maybe?
contact? Yeah, for him to maybe pursue that.
At the very least, we'll be there for him. So
Dude, I know how depressed I get. I was just sick for a day, bro. For one day, I'm in bed and I'm like, I'm depressed. I couldn't imagine 6 months, bro.
Dude,
I'm going through that,
horrible.
you know?
Yeah.
Well, and if you add the extra layer of that, if you admit that you had like a weight thing in high school and then you watch yourself,
Dude, forget it, bro.
you know, completely dwindle away
That's tough,
and freak
dude.
out. Then you overcompensate and go the other direction, put on a bunch of bad weight.
my God.
Yeah.
Our next caller is Sophie from the UK.
Hi, Sophie.
How you doing, Sophie?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. How can we help you?
Thanks so much for taking my call.
You got it.
Before I start, I just want to say I've been listening for a couple of years, and I want to say how much I appreciate the way that your ethos, really, how you strive to educate and share knowledge and inspire, but also that you stay curious and you keep learning and you challenge yourselves.
Well, thank
And
you.
you allow yourselves to be vulnerable. Yeah, I think that's admirable.
Thank you so much.
Sophie.
I appreciate
What a nice
that.
compliment.
How can we help you?
I actually have a question about my husband. It's not about me, but he knows that I'm talking to you. It's two questions. One is related to back pain, because he recently had an episode of really bad back pain, but his fitness is good, his mobility is good, his core strength is good. So we're looking for advice about that. And then just what you'd advise for long-term health and longevity for him in terms of exercise and nutrition.
Okay.
So do you want me to give you some background about his back?
Yes, that would help a lot.
Definitely.
Okay. So he's 54. He has a very sedentary job. It's a very high pressure job as a police officer. He works really long hours. So he usually leaves the house at about 6 a.m. He gets home maybe at 7 p.m. He gets on average, I would say, 6 hours of sleep on weekdays. He's always kept fit. So he cycles maybe 40 miles a week. He swims a couple of times a week. He does a bit of weights and chin-ups, and he does maybe half an hour of mobility every day. Lots of stretches, things like glute bridges, that kind of thing. Some Romanian deadlifts, but with no weights at all. Over the years, he's had back problems several times. The worst time was probably about 15 years ago when we thought it was a herniated disc. And then every few years, he'll have an episode where his back goes into spasm, and it takes him maybe 2 or 3 weeks to recover. His recent episode of that was about 3 months ago. So he felt his back stiffening up. He went to the physio. He went to the osteopath. They told him to keep moving, which he does. They told him to stay mobile, which he does. They gave him all these exercises like glute bridges, which he does. And then after the osteopath visit, he got noticeably worse. And one day he sneezed, and this caused acute pain. I mean, properly. He had to go and lie in bed for 2 days. It was so painful. But our National Health Service didn't really do anything about that. He hasn't had any scans or anything at all. So the really acute pain morphed into something sciatica-like. It referred down one of his legs. His calf got very stiff. He got pins and needles. And then gradually it improved. So he's done all the exercises that he's meant to do. It's improved. His back doesn't hurt anymore. His calf isn't stiff anymore. But obviously we're interested in avoiding this in the long term. What can he do to prevent this kind of thing reoccurring?
Yeah, good. Thanks for calling in, and thank you so much for what you said in the beginning. He's had no scan, so we don't know if there is herniation or, okay. That would be very helpful because it sounds like there may be, now this isn't a death sentence, but it would illuminate what the issue is, because it does sound nerve related.
Yeah.
Because of what you described with the leg pain and the calf stiffness. And so sometimes you can have a herniated disc or a slip disc, or there could be bony growths on the spine, the bones of the spine, that can press on a nerve and cause those issues. Now, I think what he's doing is preventing a lot worse. So it could be a lot worse. Could it be better? Possibly, but I think a scan would give us a better idea.
Is there? I would also want to know if have you guys peered in? Is there any correlation with when this is flared up with like have you gone back and been like, okay, what has that week been like? Stress, sleep, and like maybe the lifting routine that week? Like, is there a certain time where a certain exercise that he has pushed that week? Was there a certain level of stress at work at the time? Was it a really poor week of sleep that week? Has there been any correlation to when he gets these flare-ups or something happens during to that week leading up to that I would want to peer into that if you guys have at all?
We've never looked at that specifically, no. I can tell you that when this happened 3 months ago, it was a particularly bad time for it to happen because he was on promotion at work. He was basically standing in for his boss. So at work, it was extremely stressful and extremely busy. But we haven't looked specifically, to try and make a link between each episode and whether he was sleeping less or whether there was more stress.
Well, you did say he sleeps about 6 hours a night through the night. There's a strong correlation between suboptimal sleep and injury and pain. Very strong correlation.
And that'll be exacerbated if it's during a time of high stress, high stress, and or if there was something compromising that he might have done in his lifts. Like, let's say that was a week that he was kind of pushing his strength a little bit, doing a little more than usual. And so there could easily be a connection of, wow, you had a lot of stress going on. You already don't sleep really well. And that also is the day that you decided to do that extra run or you decided to do a little more weight on this exercise. There could be a connection there. And just what the advice would be, I think he's doing a lot of the right things, right? To Sal's point, to mitigate what's happening. The next layer or level to this, until we find more information out, would be like being mindful of those weeks. Like, hey, I got a lot going on. Stress works. If there was ever a time I really prioritized getting more sleep, or maybe I scale back a little bit on my training this week because being more aware of that in those moments.
So just to kind of bring this together, because sometimes when people say stress and sleep, it sounds so general and so like, oh, that's the answer they give when they don't know what the problem is type of deal. But if you look at the data, the things that you could do, so they've actually tested this, like what are the things you could do to dramatically increase risk of injury in a workout? And they've tested things like not warming up, lifting with loose form, having a poor night of sleep the night before. Poor night of sleep the night before is the worst. And it really has to do with how it affects the central nervous system. So the central nervous system is what controls and organizes all the muscles. So let's just say just hypothetically, I don't know if this is the case, we don't have a scan, but let's say he does have a herniated disc. And so it's it's always there, let's just say. It's near one of the nerves that can cause some of this pain. It's not doing anything there yet, but it's there. And what keeps it from causing pain is his muscles are well organized, he's got good core stability, and everything's keeping everything in check. But then when you have cumulative stress, so here's what happens with poor sleep. You can have really bad sleep. You could have a night where, people with infants knows what this is like. You'll have 1 or 2 nights of like 1 hour of sleep and it's like, I'm dead. But you can also have what's called cumulative stress where, over months and months and years, I just kind of have suboptimal sleep. Central nervous system gets affected, and it's not able to organize muscles in the right way. What it starts to do is tighten things up. So it starts to limit ranges of motion in areas that it believes it needs to protect. So let's just say that your husband's body has identified, which it probably has, an area of instability. Let's just say it's in the lumbar spine. Through stress and lack of sleep, it'll tighten that area up and prevent mobility, which in the short term may be okay, but in the long term can actually cause more problems. And so this is kind of what happens. So the number one thing I would do is to try to prioritize sleep, maintain the movement, prioritize sleep. Here's the other thing that I would look at. I noticed his weight was 135 at 5'11", and he's also vegetarian. Okay. Mm-hmm. I would look at supplementing with, he's already taking creatine, it says. I would try to supplement. He's already taking protein. I'm assuming he's getting at least 130 grams of protein a day. Do you know?
He doesn't track, so we have no idea, really.
Okay. Okay, so I would like to see him hit about 150 grams of protein a day. Uh-huh. And then I would also, he's taking a multivitamin, which is good. I would also take an additional methylated B vitamin supplement. I would take vitamin D in addition, and then I would definitely take some essential fatty acids, like high EPA fish oil would be a good idea. if eggs could be on the menu, eggs would be phenomenal. Typically, vegetarians respond well to eggs. If not, then you can skip that.
Eggs are totally on the menu. We have our own chickens.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, good. So keep doing that.
Really nice eggs.
But the essential fatty acids help with inflammation. They help with central nervous system function. Protein is great for recovery. I think the sleep would be the best thing because he saw physios, he saw people who understand movement. I'm assuming they looked at his movement, they looked at his movement patterns, and they probably gave him some exercises, like you said. My guess is going to be it's the cumulative kind of stress over time, which is coming from sleep.
Well, and to close the loop on what I was saying, and then what Sal has added. Imagine a day like we were just talking about, this period of time. He's doing the high stress at work. He gets a less optimal night of sleep than what he normally typically does. So it's even maybe a little worse, just slightly, but a little worse. And then that next morning is the morning that he does his swim or his cycle or his thing. And even though that's a healthy exercise, those are good movements, it's that his body is tightened up because of that stress, that lack of sleep, what Sal is saying from the central nervous system. And he goes and does these movements, and that's just enough for that nerve to hit that, and and then he freezes up.
Or what happened in his case is he did an involuntary movement that was very fast, like a sneeze.
Yeah.
And so those tight muscles can't react the way that they're supposed to. And if it hits a nerve, so it sounds like it's nerve related. When you have nerve pain, it's sudden, it's hard, and it's debilitating. It's like, boom, I can't move. And that's typically a nerve type related issue.
So if, let's say he has a week like that, or a night or two of really not enough sleep or whatever, would you advise him to try and cut down on his exercise?
Yes. It would be more recuperative. This would be a great time for, you know what, honey? Maybe today's the day for the sauna, or just
a walk,
stretch, a walk, more recuperative type of stuff.
Yeah, you're just reducing the intensity.
That's right.
Everything.
So not a cycling day, not a swimming day, not a strength training day per se. Yeah. This would be a better day to do something like that. But just
to encourage you, Sophie, let's just say he did get a scan and they did see, here's some structural stuff that's going on. How many times in the last 10 years has he had this debilitating kind of back pain?
Well, the kind of back pain that he had this time around, he's only had maybe twice ever.
Yeah.
Normally it's extreme stiffness, and I've always thought it was muscular.
Okay.
And he's had that maybe every few years.
That's not bad. Yeah. If he has no, listen.
It's actually what it is. It's a testament to him doing a lot of the right things. He's done a lot of right things. He's done a lot of good things.
I've worked with people. I would guess that if he got an image done, that they would see something. I've had clients like this where they look at the image and are like, whoa, I'm surprised you're not hurting all the time. And it's because of their fitness. Yep. But that doesn't mean he can't get better. And I really do think with his job and 6 hours of sleep, 5 days a week, you can get away with that for a little while. But if it happens long term all the time,
well, paired too with a very physical, demanding, active
or just stressful job, it definitely wears. It's cumulative, is what happens. And so if he could get an extra hour of sleep every night, I think it would reduce these episodes.
Yeah, he's trying. But it's hard. And what's your take on exercises like Romanian deadlifts? Is that something he should be not doing, or with very little weight? Or is that something that's protective if you can work up?
It can be protective if you work up, but it's being mindful of what we just talked about too. Because a time for him to work up would not be that week, right? No. Like if he's getting, it's a good rest.
He's fully recovered.
He's fully recovered. He feels great. Hey, good time to try and get stronger in that lift. It is going to be protective for him. But being mindful of not good night's sleep, really stressful at work right now, this might be the time where I'm working inward.
At this point, he wants to maintain the skill of these exercises more than anything. So when he goes in to do the exercise, more often than not, it's to be able to do it. Not necessarily to push it or to build muscle. Those are going to be more rare occasions when everything's going great and I feel amazing. But more often than not, you practice them so you don't lose the ability to do them, which does make them protective. Because if you stop doing them, let's just say stop doing that because he's scared of it, over time he'll lose the ability to do it, which increases risk of injury.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does.
Good. How difficult is it to get an image where you're at? Can you request that, or does it have to be like?
It would have to be done privately. The health service will basically refer you for a scan if you're dying.
Yeah.
I mean, we asked, and that's pretty much what they said.
Yeah. I mean, here's what a
So we
scan.
could have it done privately.
Here's what a scan would do. A scan would give you, here's what the issue is, here's what we see, and then you have the image, and then you could take that to a physio who then might have better information.
I mean, I'm
as to what to do.
I'm pretty confident. I think you would be too, that they're going to probably see. It's just a matter how much the bulge disc is going to be, how much, like, and because I think he's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I've had clients with incredibly bulging discs and never had any pain because they're healthy, they're fit, they take care of it, they do all the things. And then I have others that have nothing but yet have all this crazy chronic back pain. And so people can live with a bulge disc and for the most part be pretty healthy and fit. He's doing a lot of the right things. I think the next level or advice I have for you guys is just being more mindful of the week to week what's going on. He's not changing his job. That's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Those things are, so I can't control whether he's going to have stress or not. He's probably not going to get a lot of sleep, but knowing that, hey, this was an extra stressful week. This was also an extra not good night of rest. And this is also the day I would have went and done that cycling for X amount of miles. Not a good day to do that, you know?
If you do get an image, if you do get scans done, make sure that they look at everything, not just discs, but is there spinal stenosis? Can we look at the narrowing of the canal? Not just if there's a disc, because there's a lot of things that could cause pressure on the nerve. So if you do go pay out of pocket, make sure you say, okay, are we looking at everything? Not just like the discs.
Okay. All right. In that case, can I ask you a last question about just more general fitness and nutrition? Because I don't know if you can see how much he does. This is a person who never sits down at work, he sits down a lot. It's very sedentary. He spends the whole weekend gardening. Even when he's watching telly once a week, he does the ironing at the same time. He never sits down.
He's a busybody.
So he can see that I'm doing weights at the moment. I'm on your concierge coaching program.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
Which I'd be really happy to say something about if there's time at the end of the call. So he hears me and sees me doing weights. And he's the kind of person who thinks he's never doing enough. How much should he be doing? He's probably doing a set of pull-ups every day and some kind of random upper body weights once or twice a week. What should he be doing? More, less, none? What do you think?
I think I'm looking at it and it looks okay, but I think the sleep is the big issue.
Okay.
I'm going to keep pointing in that direction. I think the sleep is the big, because he's doing a lot of activity.
Yeah.
He's moving a lot. And so I think if he,
it sounds like to me, it sounds like the challenge is going to be telling him what not to do.
Yeah.
Right. Is that,
Yeah.
I think he's doing all great things. And so long as he's rested, stressed, all that stuff, he just needs to be mindful at those times when this is peak stress at work. This is the least optimal sleep we've been getting. This is probably the time. Take it easy on the weights. Take it easy on the cycling. You can still do it, but just be mindful of it. Don't push that extra mile of cycling. Don't increase the weight on the overhead press today.
Sophie, if he went from 6 to 7 hours of sleep at night and changed nothing else, it would be life-changing. It would be, within a week, it would be life-changing. Strength gains, he'd have mental clarity, less pain. It would feel like he just took 10 years, got 10 years younger. 1 more hour of sleep. If he could prioritize that, it would make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, is he doing his work? I'm assuming he must be doing these workouts before work. Is that what does he get up really early or something? What's he do?
Yes, he gets up really early.
He would be better off, Sal, getting sleeping in
and doing less
activity.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if he's sacrificing sleep to go do this stuff, that's not good.
No.
If that's impeding on an extra
or
hour,
going to bed early. I mean, I don't know what your guys' lifestyle looks like, but
well, he tries. I mean, we go. He probably goes to bed but doesn't fall asleep sometime between 9 and 10, and then he gets up either at 4 or at 5.
Yeah.
And he does maybe half an hour of mobility, and then he cycles to work or part way.
Yeah. So what you would do, Sophie's, because he sounds like a guy whose mind is racing. He's got a lot of ideas. It's hard to kind of wind down. So what I would do is when he gets home, it's going to sound funny. Do you work, Sophie? Or are you?
Yes, I work. Yeah, I work mostly from home online.
Okay. So what you would do is when he comes home, it's candlelight. That makes a big difference. No electronics. We're reading paper books. I mean, this sounds silly, but for people,
you should serenade him.
I love that idea. And what shall I do with my 2 teenagers while that's
I forgot to ask you that. Well, that throws a whole wrench.
who both have exams at the moment.
But you get the idea. Is like you create this kind of environment that brings the CNS down, which allows them to fall asleep. Because what happens is we hit the pillow, and we expect our bodies to be like ready for sleep, when it takes about an hour or two for our bodies to prepare for sleep. And that has to do with things like light, the light that you're exposed to, activity. So what you can do then, instead of candlelight, this is what my wife does, and it works really well, is we got salt lamps, and we put them in the house, and we turn our lights down, and we go by salt lamps, and it's a nice glow. It's a really nice environment, and it does help everybody sleep better. So something like that, less electronics, and just kind of wind down, and show him this. And hey, look, he sounds like a very focused individual. Do a 30-day challenge. 30-day challenge of 7 hours of sleep at night and see what happens. It'll blow his mind at the improvement he feels from that.
All right, I'll try that. Thanks so much for the advice.
You got it, Sophie. And then I'm glad you're enjoying these.
Yeah. How's the concierge going?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I wanted to say, I've been doing the concierge coaching since January. And that was to get help with reverse dieting, because I lost some weight last year. I wanted to reverse diet. I thought that was terrifying. And it's just a shout out for your coaches. I've spoken to Tyler, to Marissa, to Cole. Cole especially. I think it's not a given that this fit 21-year-old guy on the west coast of America is going to relate in some way to a 55-year-old woman in the UK with 2 teenagers. So I think your coaches have great knowledge and coaching skills, but also they're good at listening and adapting, and they have really good communication skills. And what's really nice, I think, just coming back to my ethos point at the beginning, is that I feel like everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. So I find that really reassuring, that if I listen to your podcast, I hear one thing, your coaches are saying the same thing, and I've seen really great results. So I want to say thank you for that. I think it's
incredible feedback.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you so much.
If you ever hear somebody compliment you on your kids, that's how we feel right now. I appreciate that. Thank you. They're great. They are great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right.
That's the best thing to hear.
Yeah.
About our coach.
By the way, especially on a concierge, because concierge, you could get different coaches each time.
Yep.
And
it's
so
our lower cost version for people who don't know. But you're sort of working with different coaches each time. But
the fact that they all are that tells me they're doing a great job of communicating with each other, with keeping notes on all the clients and stuff like that. And then of course what she's saying. So that's awesome.
Yep. All right. I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Shredded, ripped, defined, single-digit body fat.
Yes.
You want to get there? Let's talk about it.
Difficult. And is it worth it? That's a follow-up question.
Yeah. First off, we got to say that, okay, so single-digit body fat, obviously, body fat percentages that can be represented by one digit, like 3%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's ripped for men. For women,
add 10%.
Yeah, exactly. You go up about